Hi guys, good morning everyone, and welcome to the Gateway Networking event debut, hosted by myself, Joseph Potts, and supported in the background by co-director Stephen Smith. It looks like we have an amazing lineup of people coming to talk today. I'm thrilled by the turnout. So before we get into the timeline today, I thought we'd give ourselves some time to take stage and speak about who we are and what we do. So Gateway is the project name of our mother company, Create Teesside Limited. Myself and Stephen have been running CTL now for around about a year and a half, with a surprisingly different upbringing. We initially worked on language courses for the local area. These would include languages such as French, Arabic, and Mandarin for people if they wanted to educate themselves for either pleasure purposes or business purposes. We managed to get quite far in this endeavour, but we called it quits when I had to go to university for my postgraduate degree. So we took a bit of a hiatus there and then ended up toying with the ideas that related to local employment, networking, and growth. This has led us to the networking event that you see us on today. So Teesside's been in my heart since day one. Watching as I grow up now, I see opportunities left, right, and centre for growth, prosperity, which can edify ourselves and our local community. I see a Teesside where businesses thrive, people feel safe and protected at home and at work, and all tied together with community bonds that will last a lifetime. These speaking events are more than just business to us. They are an opportunity to bring Teesside together. So, with help from the university's wonderful fuel funding course, the Digital City Acceleration Programme, a set of amazing interns, some wonderful advice from people such as Zoe Malin from First, and months of grit and grind, we've managed to set up this networking event with a sublime roster of people. Speaking of this sublime roster of people, I will give a brief outline of today's timetable with some information on each individual. Now, first of all, we have Mr. Ben Houchen. However, I will introduce him just prior to when he talks at 10:15, and then I'll start from the second person onwards, just so I can give him a good introduction. So we have Ben first, and then we have Sophia Gowland. She's the owner and founder of the Petite agency. She graduated from Teesside University with a degree in business management and launched the Petite agency during the height of the pandemic. So it's going to be brilliant to hear her talk about how she managed to handle all the stress and pressures that have came with COVID, being in this business climate. So she'll be talking from 10:30 till 11:15. After that, we'll take a short little break. So I will be talking till 10:15, then Mr. Ben Houchen until 30:30, and then Sophia till 11:15. A short 15-minute break, and then we're going to introduce Laura Thompson. She is the senior executive at Reed Recruitment. Reed is the UK's leading recruitment agency, and Laura is an expert in the North East job market. She's aiming to bridge the gap between local job seekers and local businesses. She's speaking from 11 till 11:15. After that, we have Graeme Thorpe. Now, me and Graeme, we worked for 2 weeks together in Darlington on a training course. He taught me health and safety. He taught me logistics. He taught me warehousing. He taught me lean management organizational techniques. He's a brilliant guy who's qualified to level 5 in coaching and mentoring. He has a strong background in training and coaching, plus managerial experience in both the UK and Saudi Arabia. He's the creator of the Elite Working Coaching Program and the Elite Athlete Coaching Program. And that's at 11:15 till 11:30. That's Graeme Thorpe. After Graeme, we have Matthew Protheroe-Hill. He's one of our friends from the fuel funding course, and he's also the owner of Sencode Cybersecurity. Sencode is a pioneer in northeast-based UK SME with new innovative approach towards tackling the modern cybersecurity issues that we can see today. He is at 11:30 till 11:45. And then again, we're going to take a short little 15-minute break between 11:15 till 12 o'clock, where we're going to be introducing Mike Hind, MBE. He is a multi-award winning personal trainer. He's the director of a multi-award winning meal prep company and gym. He was awarded the MBE from the Queen's Honorary List, birthday honorary list in 2020. That's Mike Hind, MBE. That's 12 till 12:15. After my time, we have Miss Marie Ranson. She's the director of Key Wellbeing and also one of our friends from the Fuel Funding Program. She's a workforce wellbeing and organizational change consultant, a female founder trained in behavioral psychology, neurolinguistic programming, and growth mindset adaptation. That's Marie Ranson at 12:15 till 12:30. After that, we have Mr. Lee Flanagan. Now, I see Lee all over LinkedIn. He's a great guy, full of motivation. He's like me. You cut him and he bleeds Teesside. He's a West Lane boy. I'm a Linthorpe boy, so no competition, Lee, but we're all local lads here. He's the lead bespoker at Bespoke Financial Group. That's a national award-winning PRIMS firm, ranking at #1. He has a team of over 50 incredible staff members, and they're growing day by day, brick by brick. That's Lee Flanagan at 12:30 till 1:45. Then we'll have another short little break to roll on to 1 o'clock, where we're going to be introducing Zoe Lewis. Now, Zoe Lewis is a very, very, very erudite woman. She's the principal of Middlesbrough College, and she's the first female principal of Middlesbrough College, stroke chief executive. She was voted most inspirational female leader in the UK working in further education. She's a very intelligent lady, and you will want to hear her. You will not want to miss this. That is at 1 o'clock till 1:15, Zoe Lewis. Following that, we have Simon Clayton. Now, Simon was on the fuel funding program with us, but he was teaching and mentoring workshops. He's the guy for marketing. So he's the creator of the Marketing Master Plan coaching program. He's also a member of the Association for Coaching, the Chartered Management Institute, and the UK Marketing Network. Now, Simon, it's all things marketing. If you want to know anything about marketing, Simon Clayton is your guy. That is at 1:15 till 1:30. And then last but not least, we have Andrew Cummins. Andrew is the owner of Zodiac Digital Services, which is a speciality in web creation and e-commerce. Andrew also offers social media startup services and a bespoke training package for all things that you will need digital. That's Andrew Cummins of Zodiac Digital Services, 1:30 till 1:45. And then we'll have a brief outro from 1:45 till 2 o'clock, where we'll just wrap things up and debrief everybody. So there we have it. That is our first lineup, and what an amazing lineup this is. I cannot thank any of you guys anymore. It's truly an honor to hear from you. Our first speaker is Mr. Ben Houchen, and again, I don't think I need to give this guy an introduction, but I may as well. So Ben is the Mayor of Tees Valley. He's the first Mayor of Tees Valley, the Chair of the South Tees Development Corporation, and he's the leader of local initiatives such as Tees Works, Teesside Airport, Tees Valley Freeport, and much more. He's going to be speaking just now, and he's coming in, he's rolling in. Hello, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Are you okay? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Brilliant. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm just going to quickly go over the Discord. So just a quick one is we have a Discord running, but we haven't put any obligation on the people to speak in the Discord, as we understand that people can be very busy. However, if you have opportunities, just put them in the Discord if you'd like to speak to anybody. We have some resources available, and we have some job opportunities available in there too throughout the day. So Ben, are you doing well?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. No, just thanks for inviting me along.
Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay.
Sorry, no, thanks for inviting me along. Appreciate it.
It's delaying a bit for me, Ben. Am I going to just give you the floor? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Take it away, Ben. Thank you very much.
No problem. Hopefully everybody can hear me. So I'll just keep going until somebody tells me that they can't. But I just wanted to take 5 or 10 minutes to talk about some of the opportunities that are coming in the region. So you'll know about things like Teesside Airport. Teesside Airport now is seeing a large number of new flights. We know that is going to lead to new employment opportunities, not just for additional flight crew. As more airplanes are based at Teesside Airport, they're going to have to recruit from the area where those planes are based. But also, for example, inside the terminal itself, we're going to need more airport staff. And also, there's a lot of work going on at the airport. So we're using local contractors to refit out the terminal to make sure that we've got new bars, new restaurants, new cafes, etc. So as well as being directly employed by the airport and the opportunities that brings, there'll also be opportunities with local businesses who we always prioritize for projects that we control, because it's all very well and good owning these things and investing in these things, but if the local economy, local people, local businesses don't benefit, then that causes everybody a problem, because we need to make sure that we lift everybody up in our region. There are some amazing businesses and amazing people, but there are those less fortunate who need the opportunity to be able to get on the rung of the ladder, to get a job and start a career. And that links very well in with the Tees Works site. And for those that aren't familiar with the name Tees Works, it is the former Redcar Steelworks site. And after a 5-year wrangle with banks, with lawyers, with official receivers, and all of the nonsense that came after the tragic closure in 2015, we now own the whole site. And hopefully you'll have seen in the press recently, there's a huge amount of work ongoing. So again, thanks to the guys at Gateway and at Create Teesside Limited to give me the opportunity to share with you some of those opportunities. So first of all, we've got a number of contractors on site, local contractors, all of them, which is great to see. And we know, because we're speaking to them, that they're recruiting for the contracts that they're winning on the Redcar Steelworks site. So on site already, we've got Hall Construction based just outside of Darlington, who are doing a huge amount of land clearance remediation and some small demolition projects on the Teesworks site. So if you're in construction or you're looking to get into civils, absolutely get in touch with Hall Construction with a CV, any qualifications that you might have. They're actively recruiting for people in that area. Seymour's in Darlington, who are also another civils construction company, fantastic business. They've won some major contracts on the Development Corporation site on the basis that it's such a large site. We are, when we get up to speed, could be running anywhere between 10 and 20 local contractors on the site at any one time. So Seymour's are the second one. They're recruiting. So again, if you've got any opportunity that you want to explore with them as a civils construction company, they are actively recruiting. Actually, not just for the Teesworks site, but they are recruiting for the Teesworks site, but they're recruiting for projects right across the region. On top of that, you've got Charlie Russell's in Redcar, who are also a contractor on the Development Corporation site. We know that they're recruiting in the same way. You've got Esh Group, again, based just outside of Darlington, who are working on the site. And you may have seen redeveloping the entrances to the Development Corporation site, building new gatehouses, induction centres, training facilities, and redesigning the entrances as well. They're actively recruiting, again, for the site, but they're also recruiting recruiting operatives as well for work across the Tees Valley. So we know, if anybody's interested as well, not to steal the limelight, but if you want to go onto my Facebook page, all of my social media, you'll see a whole list of those jobs that they're currently advertising for and available as we speak. And those are the current opportunities, but I just wanted to set out to you that, that's not the be all and end all. We are barely at the starting line of clearing up the site, preparing land. This is a 5-10 year project. It's going to take us probably between 4 and 5 years to completely clear the site, demolish everything, remediate it, and get it ready for investment, which then leads on to another number of years for construction, obviously building things like sheds, manufacturing spaces, processing, etc., etc. Now, some of those construction jobs for building will start over the next 12 months because land is available in the next couple of months. But as we phase across the whole site, let's not forget it's a 4,500 acre site, there will be a rolling program of work on demolition, clearance, site preparation. Then they will move on to the next part of the site while somebody comes in and invests and builds on the site. So you've got a rolling program across all 4,500 acres that will be taking place. And as part of that, the next phase, we're about to appoint, hopefully local, but it's very specialist work, a framework of demolition contractors, and there are going to be at least 3, maybe 4 very large-scale demolition contractors on the site at any one time. So if you take, for example, the South Bank Coke Oven, or you take something like the blast furnace, over the coming months, those contracts will be let for those to be cleaned and then demolished. And so over the coming months, there'll be lots of job opportunities to be able to get involved with those businesses who win those tenders and get onto those frameworks for local people as well. And that can be quite confusing because one of the things that I find with people when I speak to them about this is, well, how do we know who's won? And how do we know who to contact, and how do we know where the job opportunities are? Well, in the next few days, something we've talked about publicly for a while now, but in the next few days, we'll be formally launching something called the Teesworks Academy. Now, there is some ability to get some training within that, but actually it will also be a signpost between people looking for jobs and pairing people with the contractors who've won contracts on site to be able to pair them with jobs on the site. So we'll act as a bit of a middleman to be able to pair people looking for a job to the jobs that are available. But obviously, there will be some upskilling that's required. There are amazing organisations like Gateway and Create Teesside Limited that I'm sure can help with that. There are others as well, but we can act as that gateway. And in the future, not to go on for too long for this, but I think it's important that the Teesworks Academy is a bit of a pilot in that we know it will be successful, but once we prove that it is, then actually that academy will turn into a wider Tees Valley Academy, and we'll look at pairing people with jobs for jobs right across the region, working with training providers, education providers to make sure that, it's one thing saying there's a job, but we need to make sure that local people are skilled to get those jobs, because if they haven't got the right skills, doesn't matter how much we prioritize local people, they can't get the jobs because they haven't got the right skills. So we need to make sure that we understand what you can do, what training you already have, and what training you might need to be able to get one of these jobs that are coming. So I think that's a really important thing as well. And then on the rest of the construction and engineering side, in January, we'll start construction of the new Middlesbrough train station, the new platforms, the upgrade of the station. I know we've talked about it for some time, but construction actually starts in January. So again, the contractors on site that we'll be announcing in the first couple of weeks in January will be looking for, as they scale up the construction work and the upgrade work, they'll be looking for people to take on as well, which is an amazing project to be involved in, because once that upgrade is finished by the middle of 2021, it will pave the way for the introduction of the new LNER train directly from Middlesbrough to London at the end of 2021, starting in December. So I'm kind of here to just say that, look, there are huge opportunities. There are jobs coming up all the time. I appreciate that with COVID, it's been a hard slog for a lot of people, and there have been a lot of job losses, but there are also huge opportunities. And the building blocks that we're putting in place for the big infrastructure projects, whether it be Darlington Station, Middlesbrough Station, Tees Works Airport, the stuff that we've talked about, right the way through to the Tees Crossing, which will be a new flyover on the A19, there's going to be many, many jobs being created. And the final one I just want to touch upon, if anybody is interested in engineering and construction and getting involved, because there will be a need for some training to be provided to be able to get one of these jobs, is Net Zero Teesside. Net Zero Teesside is, again, if you want to look at the detail, go on to netzeroteesside.com. They've got their own website. You'll be able to see loads of stuff on my social media about it. It will be the world's first industrial scale carbon capture and storage scheme. So it's a facility, in effect, that will build a power station. And right next door, it will also build a plant that captures carbon out of our chemical and processing industry. And it'll capture, when it's up to speed, more than 10 million tons of carbon every year, which is the equivalent of 3 million homes. And they are projecting, these are not my numbers, so I'm overinflating anything. These are numbers that they've come up with, that during peak construction of that project that is expected at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, they're going to need at peak construction 5,500 construction jobs, which is going to be a huge problem. And it's going to be a great problem to have, but it will be a problem in that I can very much see now, unless people are aware of that opportunity, starting to get themselves skilled for the types of jobs that will be coming in that, it would be too late, and we'll be importing labour from elsewhere in the country and abroad, when actually I'm sure there are people on this call and people that you know who, if they had the right skills, would love that type of job and opportunity. And that's just one project. So the future for the Tees Valley in construction, infrastructure, engineering is bright. And that's without even talking about, except for Net Zero Teesside, that's not even talking about the investment and and after construction phase, the full-time, permanent, well-paid jobs that will come within the logistics sector, within the manufacturing and processing sector, and within the engineering sector, that things like the Tees Works site will deliver as they build big chemical processing, manufacturing, logistics businesses come into the region, which again will all be facilitated by free port bidding as well. So when we get a free port, which I'm confident that we'll be able to achieve if we work together, we will absolutely in Teesside, absolutely if successful with that bid, have the UK's biggest free port, which will stimulate huge amounts of international investment. It'll bring jobs to the region, again, not just in the construction engineering phase, but in the long-term, good quality, well-paid job phase that we absolutely need and deserve in this area. So I'm very aware that I don't like to rattle on for too long, and I don't want to talk at people for too long, but I just want to say thanks again to Gateway for inviting me, and Create Teesside Limited for giving me the opportunity. I don't know, Steve and the team at Gateway, whether there is, but I'm more than happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. I certainly think that bridging the gap now between people who are looking to get to these construction jobs and people who are looking to work there, the education that needs to be just fundamental before you can actually get there is very imperative. So which types of courses and degrees and educational facilities are available for people right now if they want to start learning the different mechanics and technical abilities behind becoming a construction agent? What would you recommend to people to go to? So
again, I think if I can not answer that question and just say, look out in the next kind of 48, 72 hours, that there will be an announcement, particularly through Tees Works Academy. So Tees Works Academy, there is a website you can type, well, it's not live yet, but in the next couple of days it will be. You can go on Tees Works Academy. Now, Tees Works Academy is not replicating what's already in the market, which is something I was very keen not to do. What we're going to be doing is we are working with a whole lot of local education providers, both college and private sector, and they will be announcing who you can contact. If you're interested in a job, you can send an email or pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody about the opportunity. They will then sit down with you and they will map what you currently have in skills and experience and qualifications. And what they will do is they'll map that against the job opportunities. And they'll say, right, well, if you want to be, if you want to get on a 30-ton crane digger, then you're going to need your ticket and you're going to need this qualification. So you need to have this course, and we can put you on this course to make sure that when those jobs come in the next couple of months, you're qualified, you've got your ticket, you can get on site. So they will hold your hand through that whole process. So all I would say is it's a bit of a typical political answer, not really answering the question. I'm just saying that will happen, and you will be able to get all your questions answered on that side of things in the next 48 hours. Okay,
that's brilliant. It's brilliant for both ends of the table as well. It's brilliant for people who can provide education and people who can receive the education. So it opens opportunities not only for people to learn, but for people to teach too, which I think is really amazing. So if for people who don't know, what's your Twitter handle? What's your maybe your socials? Is it just that Ben Houchen? Is it just as simple as that? People can find you with a relatively easy Google search, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that I've got a strange second name, but yeah, my handle is at Ben Houchen. My Instagram handle is at Ben Houchen. If you type in Tees Valley Mayor or Ben Houchen to Facebook, a lot of our content, we put content everywhere, but Facebook is the most detailed and probably best place to come and find us on the Facebook page. But also, if people have questions, and I appreciate we'll be signposting towards the Teesworks Academy, 2 points, it's not exclusive. So there are other education providers that we'll be working with to make sure that people are skilled to go on the site. So it's not excluding those training providers. And secondly, if people want to have a conversation with me or my team, separate from the Teesworks Academy, you can contact me. And I will put it in I assume I can just click on comments or private chat and type it in. I'll put my email address in because then people can email me as well as looking out on social media to contact.
So I've seen that you're in the Discord chat that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I think it would be best if you put it in the resources tab. Just if you have any resources available. Obviously, you don't need to do it now. You can just give it 5 minutes or so. Get yourself some resources that you think would be best applicable for people, and then just drop them into the resources tab. And then anybody who's on the Discord stream now, give it 5-10 minutes, and Mr. Houchen will have them there for you if you're interested. So yeah. I'm very happy with that, Ben. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you very much and appreciate your time.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Houchen. See you now. Okay, so that was Mr. Houchen. Next up, we're going to have Sophia Gowland. She is from the Petite agency. I think we're just going to run maybe a short advert, just about this time, between the next 2 minutes or so. I think that we're going to put a short little segment in there if we can get that done. So we're going to find out. 1 second. So yeah, so that's very interesting. So if you're looking for any work, construction, or if you're looking to provide any different resources for people, if you do have any experience in construction or any relevant skills that are pertinent to construction, then if you're looking for work and you're looking for a place to go and an opportunity to go on to, then you can find all that information via the resources that are going to be available for Mr. Houchen in the resource tab on the Discord. So if you haven't currently got the Discord set up, check your emails, and then underneath the StreamYard link, there will be a Discord link too. You can get on there now. There's quite a few people on there providing help and tips and just different resources to help. So next we have Sophia Gowland. So again, Sophia is the owner of the Petite agency. She's coming in now. Hello, Sophia.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Again, there's a tad bit of delay as people come in, so I'll just make that aware to you. So so how are you doing? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
Brilliant. I'm doing well, thank you. Again, I'm gonna again bide the time for the delay, and I'll take accountability for that. Are you okay to take the floor now?
Yep, that's absolutely fine. I'm just changing tabs, so hopefully it'll be fine. Stop me if it's not.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm changing tabs over, so stop me if it's not okay.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll be all right with you. Are you sharing your screen? Is that what you're doing?
No.
No, you're just going to switch over tabs. Okay, so that's fine. I'll let you go full screen now. We'll pass you over, and then if there's any issues, I'll give you a quick shout.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So hello everyone, a little bit of a tough act to follow from Ben Houchen, but hopefully you don't mind listening to me chat for 10 minutes as well. So as Joseph just introduced me as, my name is Sophia Gowland and my company is called the Petite Agency. So we are a digital marketing agency designed for business owners who are looking for a more collaborative and personal approach to their marketing needs. Just before I get started, I just want to say a huge thank you to the guys at Gateway UK for asking me to guest speak today. As someone who is brand new to business and literally only 5 months in, I'm very flattered to be given this opportunity to speak alongside some of the amazing people that are part of the programme today. So when the Gateway UK guys first asked me to speak, my initial thought was to talk about marketing and the services that I offer with my business at the Petite Agency. However, I don't think that is the most effective use of our time today for this slot. And when I was chatting to them a little bit more, they mentioned that the reason they asked me to speak today is because they were impressed that I had launched my business, my startup business during lockdown. And I suppose it's quite rare to take that leap and set up a business from scratch during the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And I do often get asked how I found the confidence to do that. Well, my way of thinking was that 2020 has flipped our lives upside down so much already, so what harm could it do me flipping another area of my life upside down too? So for anyone looking to make the next move in their career or launch their startup business, then I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about my startup journey and give some very humble advice of how others can find the confidence to take their next career move too. So as I mentioned, my company is called the Petite Agency, and at the beginning of lockdown, I created a campaign across the Petite Agency social channels, which turned out to be quite a life-changing move for myself. My campaign was called Supporting Teesside in Crisis, and it was created out of my passion for the people I've built relationships with and worked alongside for the past decade, along with a genuine desire to help the people who were struggling during these strange times. I'm sure if you all cast your minds back to the end of February, the beginning of March, you remember how hard it was for everyone to comprehend what was going on at the time. So the idea was to reach out to my network of business owners in the area and ask them to record a short video to explain how they may be able to support smaller businesses during lockdown and throughout the pandemic. So for example, for those people wanting to know just that others were struggling too, wanting to hear how others were dealing with it, or even find people in similar positions, or even people that they might want to get in front of to discuss new ways of doing business. You know, it's the new normal, everyone was looking for new ways to kind of move forward. The social platform I created meant that business owners would know they could get access to a whole range of advice, help and support through myself and my network. I think it felt very much for business owners like it was about survival at the beginning of lockdown, and I was hoping that I was creating a small lifeline for business owners who weren't able to kind of help themselves so much, or they weren't sure where to turn to. So the campaign genuinely turned out to be so much more successful than I ever could have imagined, and I had people getting in touch, joining in and helping who I never thought would even hear about the campaign, never mind actually take part in it. So what happened over the course of the few months of me running this campaign was that I realised how much I genuinely enjoyed having my own project to work on, something that I'd created by myself and that I could work on every day and be proud of myself for doing so. The people that I met along the way inspired me to keep pushing through and take the Petite Agency to the next level, which is how, once the campaign came to a natural end, I ended up launching this as a digital marketing business. So here we are today, I'm 5 months in, and I've already surpassed my own expectations, as I thought that I'd probably lose my confidence and give up by month 2. By no means do I think I know enough to advise anyone else, or that I'm successful enough to be telling people what they shouldn't be doing. I'm still very much learning myself, but I have learned some very valuable lessons already, and I'd like to share 5 pieces of advice with you today that have helped me on my journey so far, if that's okay with you all. So number 1, it's don't be embarrassed by your idea or by your goals. Speak to people about them. Don't keep them to yourself. Get advice and test your idea on people whose opinions you respect. The one thing I would change is that I wish I had the confidence to do all of this sooner. I had this business idea in my head for such a long time, but I never dared tell anyone about it or take that leap because I was so scared that people would laugh or tell me that I'm not good enough. So my first piece of advice is just to not be embarrassed by your idea or by your goals. Talk to people, and this will help you to take that leap. So that leads me on to my second piece of advice, which is pushing past that self-doubt and that voice in your head that kind of tells you, oh, you can't do this. So I'm sure if we asked all of the amazing business leaders speaking today, they would say that they've all had those negative feelings in the pit of your stomach. And it's, you know, that voice in your head saying, oh, what if I can't do this? Or what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? Well, my advice to push past the self-doubt is to research imposter syndrome and realise that it really is a real thing. And it's something that so many business leaders suffer from. And once you've read into this, you'll begin to realise that all of those feelings of self-doubt are completely normal. And it's just how everyone feels when they're trying to reach a life or a career goal. And you'll be able to deal with those feelings a lot better once you're educated on this subject. I think it's one of those areas that's always held me back personally, and I've spoken to many successful business owners, leaders from Teesside about imposter syndrome. But once I'd researched it and understood the different types of ways it can affect different types of people, it gave me the confidence to kind of ignore it and just go ahead with my startup idea. So it's one of those things that will creep up on you constantly as you move through different levels in your business. For example, being asked to speak today, I was thinking, but why would anyone want to listen to me? I'm not good enough to talk on there, not alongside all of the other people that I heard were coming on. Then I found out it was straight after Ben Houchen, which made it even worse. But again, you just learn to shut it off and power through. So that's my second piece of advice, to push past the self-doubt. My third piece of advice is to understand the creative process when building an idea or a project or a business. So I'm sure if you Google it, you'll see it come up, and it's like a list of stages of the creative process. So obviously I can't show you on the screen right now, so I'll just tell you what it is. So it goes like this. It goes, this is awesome, this is tricky, this is rubbish, I'm rubbish, oh, this might be okay. This is awesome, this is tricky, this is rubbish, I'm rubbish, oh, this might be okay. And it continues, that process repeats itself just about every time you do something creative. And I've seen so many posts about this process shared on LinkedIn or on social by some of the UK's most successful business leaders who should be completely confident in their ideas and capabilities, yet they still struggle through those this is rubbish and I am rubbish phases. So you have to just remember that that's all they are, phases. And if you write down that creative process in front of you, you'll be better equipped to deal with it and know you're just stuck in the rubbish stage for now, and that it will pass. So yeah, that's my third piece of advice, is about the creative process. Write it down, read it, understand that if you're stuck in one of the negative phases, you will come out of it and you'll come through the other side and move on to the positives. So my fourth piece of advice is to create a network of people who understand your business, your goals, and most importantly, you. This is especially important if you're setting up in business alone, like I have myself with the Petite agency. Some people refer to this group as your winner's circle, and they're the people who'll be there to celebrate with you when things are going amazing, but also the people who pick you up when you're down, and also everything in between. And I do genuinely think without the support of the people around me this year, I wouldn't have had the confidence to do any of the things I've done so far. And that's from posting those initial videos on LinkedIn. If anyone saw them back at the start of the year, that took a massive amount of confidence, to starting a business by myself, leaving my really secure job when everything was upside down anyway. And I now look after my own clients and do everything else that comes with running a business by yourself. It can be overwhelming, and at times it can consume you. But if you have the right people around you, it genuinely does make things so much easier. So my advice is to find your winner's circle. And the way to do this would be to identify friends, family, partners, co-workers, people in your network, just anyone who wants to see you succeed and can align with and understand your vision and your goals. So for my final piece of advice, it is a bit of a random one, but it's for you all to listen to one of the most inspiring podcast episodes that I have ever listened to. I don't know if anyone is into podcasts that's listening now. I personally listen to a lot of them and find them really helpful when I'm trying to get myself motivated. But this particular episode encompasses everything that I've just spoken about, and it's by Tony Robbins and Sarah Blakely. So Tony Robbins is a world-leading motivational speaker. Sarah Blakely is the founder of Spanx. And the message from that podcast is that sometimes what you don't know can be your greatest asset. And I think that is one of the most fantastic pieces of advice for anyone looking to take any sort of leap in their life. I always thought I needed to know every single thing about the industry, about the business that I was going into. But listening to this podcast made me realise I don't need to have all the answers to begin. I just need to begin. So again, for advice number 5, it's sometimes what you don't know can be your greatest asset. And if you listen to the podcast episode, then you'll understand what I mean by that. I'll pass it on to the link to the Gateway UK team so they can send it out to you all. So that's the end of my little speech. And to wrap it up, the one thing I would say I've learned this year is that great things can come during times of adversity as long as you have your confidence in yourself and you believe in what you're doing. And I think the Petite agency is a testament to that. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the event today. Oh, I can't hear you. No, I can see you mouthing the words, but I can't hear you. No, I can still just lip read you. I don't know if anybody else can hear. Maybe it's just my computer.
Yeah, sorry about that. Steve here, background. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, no, great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully Joe can sort that out as for a moment. But yeah, great stuff. If you could post that information over into the Discord, that would be perfect.
Do you want it in resources or?
Yeah. So there's a resources area, and then it can get posted in there. Alternatively, you can just message one of the team and they can post it in there for you as well. All right.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll post a link to that podcast. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh. Right, okay, thank you all so much. Seems we're having a bit of a technical issue with Joe's side, so I'll move on with everything. So coming up next, oh, we have the break. That's fine, perfect. So apologies there. So we're going to have a 15-minute break, then we're going to come back at 11, where we're going to have Laura Thompson, who's a senior executive recruiter at Reed, speaking about her role, what she does, and any hopefully any positions that are available locally. So thank you all so much. I'm going to go for a 15-minute break and see you back at 11.
Mic test. Mic test. 1 2 1 2. mic on. Welcome back, guys. Next we have Laura Thompson. She is the senior executive at Reed. Hello, Laura.
Hi.
I'll give you a quick introduction. So Laura, she is the senior executive at Reed, the UK's leading recruitment agency. She's here to talk about the Northeast job market and bridging those gaps between job seekers and local businesses. We had a little bit of a talk yesterday. We spoke about how different industries have been affected due to COVID. We talked about how the security industry has got actually a lot more staff on board due to COVID, but places such as legal firms, for instance, they have been a bit more apprehensive when it comes to recruiting. So Laura's here to talk about the Northeast job market, different opportunities available, and her time at Reed. So take the floor, Laura.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me on today.
No
really
problem. Thank you. Okay.
So what I would do first of all is just a quick introduction just for myself. So my name is Laura Thompson. I'm one of the recruiters here at Reed. I'm based in the Newcastle office, but my area is the whole of the Northeast. I've been with Reed for about 7 years now, so long time. It's a great business to work for. I'm sure most of you know Reed. Reed are a household name now. We're the UK's leading recruitment agency, and we also have the UK's #1 job board. We're a specialist agency. So what that means is if you're a candidate looking for work or if you're a client looking to fill a role, we are specialists in our market. So whenever you come to Reed, you will be getting a designated consultant who is completely immersed in their marketplace. And whenever I say specialist, I mean specialist in business support roles, industrial roles, marketing, technology, finance, HR, hospitality, leisure. So whenever you come to us as an agency, you're not getting somebody with a you are getting broad knowledge, but you're getting somebody who's very dedicated to your specific marketplace and is best placed to help you find work or find a candidate for your job. We are national and local, which I think is hugely important. So we're based across the whole of the UK, but we have local presences in nearly every city in the UK, which means we are very immersed in the local knowledge, local businesses and local candidate pool as well. So in the Northeast, just if you're not aware, we have 3 offices. We have one in Newcastle, we have one in Sunderland, and we have one in Middlesbrough as well. So really spread out. So wherever you're based in the Northeast, you'll be able to access a team of designated consultants. So what I would do as well is I thought I would come on and give you a general overview of the job market at the moment. Obviously, it's been a very strange year. There's been a huge impact on the Northeast job market as a result of the pandemic. And unfortunately, the Northeast has been one of the sort of biggest impacted areas in the UK. So at the moment, unemployment in the Northeast is currently sitting at 6.8%. Now, that is one of the highest in the UK. The national average is actually 4.8, so we're way above that. And it has slightly gone up quite recently as well, just before the second lockdown. So what that means is that's actually the highest it's been in over a decade. So that just gives you a bit of an idea as to how much work we've done over the last 10 years to come out of the last recession, and then the pandemic's hit, and we have been hugely affected as a region. And there are 3 areas in the Northeast specifically that have been hugely affected. Those are Middlesbrough, Hartlepool and South Tyneside. They're actually ranking among the highest areas in the whole of the UK to be affected by unemployment. So how does this affect you as job seekers? How does this affect you as graduates? How does this affect you as a candidate in work, still really caring about their career progression, but thinking, is this maybe not the best time to be looking for a job? So everybody has been affected by COVID, whether it's been as a result of redundancy, as a result of furlough, fewer job opportunities, fewer grad job opportunities as well. But it's also affected people still in work. So people that are still working through this pandemic are facing increased workloads, increased pressure. So everybody has been affected one way or another. The marketplace is so busy. There are more and more candidates on the marketplace. So what you'll find is say, for example, you're a marketing executive and there's a marketing executive job being advertised. You're not only up against other marketing executives or grads, you're also up against more senior marketing professionals who have been made redundant. And because there aren't any job opportunities necessarily at a senior level at the moment, you're up against that talent as well. So the marketplace is so busy, and it's especially difficult for graduates, entry-level candidates looking to break the market or get into their dream job. So it is a very difficult time and a very competitive time to be looking for work. So what I thought would be good to go through today is some three key learns, 3 key pieces of advice that I would give any job seeker at the moment if they were looking for work, looking to have the best opportunity that they could have in terms of securing a new role. And this comes from not only 7 years of experience, 6 years working in a quite stable marketplace, but in the last year, what has stood out to me, what I've seen successful candidates do or not do, and what I feel would be the best bit of advice to give a job seeker at this time. So the first piece of advice would be stand out and work on your personal branding. Now that has always been important, but it could not be more important than in the current marketplace. You need to stand out from the competition. The key bits of advice I'd give for that are networking. Events like today, such a fantastic event being run by Gateway UK. This is a perfect example of a time where you can stand out from your competitors, connect with local business leaders and stamp your mark, basically. LinkedIn as well. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. If your profile on LinkedIn is quite minimalistic, you need to maximize that. You need to create yourself as a personal brand to attract clients, businesses, and opportunities to you. Whenever I'm recruiting for a role, the first thing I do whenever I review a CV is I will always check out that candidate's LinkedIn presence. And that, for me, makes all the difference if they've put the effort and time into building up that profile. You want to connect with local business leaders like today, but also if you're in a specific sector or if you want to get into a specific sector, you want to identify the key leaders, the key businesses in your field, find out who is the best point of contact in each of these businesses, connect with them on LinkedIn, send them an email, reach out to them, make yourself known, make yourself stand out above the competition. And lastly on that point is you want to connect with recruiters. And I mean, don't connect with any recruiter, connect with the one that's going to specialize in your market area, because they'll be the ones best fit to help you find work. The second point would be fine tune your CV and application. Please make sure it is relevant to the job you're applying for. It doesn't have to be on 2 pages. That is the biggest myth I've ever heard. You want to include key achievements, key examples. I personally don't care how much information you put on a CV, as long as it is relevant and well structured. Put it in bullet points. Don't send it in a big page of waffle, because as recruiters and clients, we scan CVs in seconds. So you want that to be as easily readable as possible. And the final piece of advice I'm going to give in terms of looking for work is interviews. Now, as you all can imagine, everything's gone remote. These events that the event that we're doing today is remote. Interviews are now remote. And I have seen so many candidates miss out on job opportunities because of their performance in a remote interview. Now, remote interviews can be held on Zoom, Teams. There are so many new platforms that are emerging. But simple things like interview etiquette, like what to wear, don't be sitting on your mobile phone, don't have distractions around you, make sure you're in a well-lit room, make sure your microphone's on, make sure you're presentable. These things make all the difference. I've heard a few stories about candidates doing silly things like sitting on their phone during an interview and that being the reason why they didn't get that job. And obviously I appreciate it is difficult, times are different. The interview, you would never normally do that in a standard face-to-face interview. So why would you then do it in a remote interview? So my key point on interviews is practice. Do a technical run through, practice on a friend, practice on a family member, because these are new to everybody. But if you come across well in a remote interview via Teams or Zoom and you stand out above the competition, that's going to help you secure that role. So those would be my 3 key learns to give any job seeker, any grad, or anybody in general looking for work at the minute. It is a really, really tough time, and it is really important to stand out in the marketplace, especially when it is so busy and saturated with a high level of experienced candidates. So then what I wanted to go on is just really to address the fact that yes, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, we are facing very high unemployment rates, especially as a region. But businesses are still recruiting. There are jobs out there. And I personally, in the last 3 months, have had probably the busiest 3 months in recruitment than I have in the last 2 years. The amount of people that I've secured roles for, permanent roles, contract roles, temporary roles. So I really want to just knock that ahead and just make sure that everybody's aware that this marketplace is busy. There are jobs out there. You know, it's not a case of wait till next year and start applying. Now is the time to be putting the feelers out, researching the job market, getting on the job boards, connecting with recruiters, going through LinkedIn, because I do feel that, the region does still need to perform. There are businesses that are still growing, still expanding. And I read a report this morning, actually, and it was really interesting. So the Northeast is actually in the top 5 regions to have adapted most during the pandemic. So over 80% of SMEs in our region have introduced new services as a result of the pandemic. This means that there's more growth, there's more opportunity for candidates, for job seekers, and for graduates. So I think, yes, we may be the region hugely affected by unemployment. Yes, that's not great, but how amazing is it that we're in the top 5 regions to actually be doing something positive in a time of basically global crisis? I also wanted to point out as well some key sectors that might be good to tap into if you are a job seeker and looking for work. So, and this can be in any specialism, whether you're like an administrator or a salesperson or customer service, or you work in industrial or whatever your skill set. Key sectors to look out for that are expanding are e-commerce sectors. I don't know about you, but I've spent a large part of this year online shopping on Amazon or various other retailers. So e-commerce is a highly growing market, and there's been a huge demand for specialized e-commerce professionals, customer service professionals within the e-commerce sphere. So basically anybody that can kind of work in a business that is selling products online is definitely one to tap into. Another sector that is growing is online gaming. Again, especially during the lockdown, a lot of people have been confined to their 4 walls. So anything that's online learning, online gaming, anything like that, I read as well that Tombola, who are based in Sunderland, have recruited hundreds of jobs during the pandemic, and that's just due to increased demand. Another sector that is expanded is insurance and financial services. These obviously with people trying to get things kind of sorted, that care about their finances, things happen, like people having payment holidays. Those sectors have had to recruit additional heads as well. You're also looking at your healthcare service, your NHS. We actually placed, a high number of COVID testers, 111 call handlers, anything that is specific or, relevant to the sort of healthcare sector, and especially anything that is in relation to the kind of COVID crisis. So we have actually placed a number of people in those roles, temporary and sort of contract. Another sector as well to definitely tap into is digital and technology. So as you can imagine, every business has had to move all aspects of their trading, their business, their learning, their training, their internal processes online, digital and technology. So if you're either an expert in tech or even if you're passionate about that sector, there are a growing number of roles in digital and technology. And then finally, another sector which I think would be worth mentioning on the call as well, due to there being some local key companies in this field, is distribution and logistics. So again, that kind of falls in line with the growth in the e-commerce sector. So you have businesses that are, there's a lot more people buying online, a lot more products, a lot more products needing to be moved, around the UK. So there is a growing demand for roles within distribution and logistics, like drivers, warehouse operatives, production, those kind of roles. But yeah, so what I thought would be good is to obviously summarise, give you a brief overview of what's going on at the moment. I'm going to post our current live vacancies on Discord. There are quite a few, really varied as well. Some are specialists in the likes of tech, supply chain, logistics, HR. But then we have industrial roles, cleaning roles, operative roles, admin roles as well. So I'll get all those posted on there. And again, what I'll also include on Discord is my contact details. Now, there are a number of consultants, that are based, in the Northeast, but I'll put my contact details down on there, and I can refer people to the relevant consultant that's going to be best fit to help you. But yes, so what I would suggest as well is, following on from my previous piece of advice on LinkedIn, is feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and feel free to reach out and connect to some of the other Reed consultants as well. We're all super active on LinkedIn. It's an amazing platform for job searching and for general research in the market. So connect with me on LinkedIn, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to help. Any advice or guidance or any advice on roles. But yeah, so that's that from me. Just want to thank you so much for your time and for joining the event today, and a massive thank you to Gateway as well for allowing me this platform to speak. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much. I am definitely someone who's fell victim to the 2-page CV, and now you've told me that it's a misconception. I feel a bit put in the dirt, but it's one of them ones where all the advice that you can get, especially from a recruiter, is absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to make sure to flesh my CV out a little bit for the future. Yeah,
good. I think it's going to help me, Joe, as well.
Thank you. That was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so you're going to put resources available on Discord. You can have the social medias on there, all your contact information. So if anybody watching, if anybody wants to connect with Laura, all the information will be on Discord. Or following that, you can find all of her information on LinkedIn. That's Laura Thompson. Thank you.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. See you later. So next we have Graeme. We have Graeme Thorpe. Me and Graeme worked, as I say. Hello, Graeme.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Graeme. So me and Graeme, we actually worked 2 weeks prior. We were working on training for a company called Orange Box Solutions. We were doing warehousing and logistics. We were doing management, organizational techniques, and I learned a lot of information from Graeme, and Graeme's taught me a lot. And he's here today to talk about his elite athlete coaching program, his elite working coaching program, what he does, who he is, all things coaching, all things Graeme. Are you doing well? Are you doing well, Graeme?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Joe. It's been very good listening to the previous 3 speakers, and looking forward to the rest of the speakers as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity for me to have a talk as well.
No problem, mate. It'd be brilliant listening to the 4th. Thanks, Graeme.
Okay.
Cheers, man. Take the floor.
Okay. Yeah, so just to get started, I think if I just give a little brief background about myself. So I'm somebody who's very much into my sports. Football, golf, cricket, and running at a club level. I'm currently working as a player improvement coach for Birmingham Synthonia. And a lot of that there focus on development of younger players, the ones that are in the academy, the development team, the ladies first team, and their development team. So what I try to do is work with them on development areas of sort of their performance, using a performance wellness wheel. So that can be used through one-to-one coaching sessions, workshops, and even bringing in guest speakers for sessions, so people who are experts in their field. I've also worked with young professional footballers in professional academies in the UK and some overseas, where they've been part of the elite athlete coaching program. Work-wise, started off my work in admin, HR of a college, worked sort of into teaching, community, and in a college FA environment. Predominantly worked in the welfare to work arena for the last 10 years as an employer consultant, managing skills and employability contracts in the Northeast. And then I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to work in a number of roles out in Saudi Arabia, which involved training, coaching, senior management teams. So that kind of led to where a couple of years back, really, I went self-employed 5 years back, but a couple of years back, I took the step of getting into coaching. So during the time of self-employment, I've worked as a business consultant, business development, training, coaching and mentoring, qualified up to level 5 and a member of the Association of Coaching. And I'm going to be looking forward to joining a coaching collective in 2021, which will help provide an ethical framework for me to coach within the voluntary community and social enterprise sector. So performance has always been something that I've been involved in, whether it's been sport, whether it's been in the workplace. And looking back, I probably got a lot of it wrong. And when I say I got a lot of it wrong, I probably focused too much on the outcome. Okay. So what I think is my preferred style in management, training or coaching is to really sort of work with individuals, co-develop ideas where it's possible. So whether that's the elite athlete or the elite worker, and get them to sort of think more about what it is they're doing, raise an awareness of their particular sort of journey, and kind of take away what it is they're looking to try to achieve. Because I think, as Sophia mentioned earlier, sometimes we can put limits on ourselves. So when we say, well, that is what we can achieve, well, who knows, we could achieve more. So to start off with, just ask some basic questions, sort of the elite athlete or the elite worker. So who am I? What is my personality? What are my learning styles? How can I get the best out of myself? Looking at where they are. So where am I? That links into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm very much focused on getting the key foundations in place within that triangle, because I think sometimes, and I've probably been there myself, trying to achieve things at the top when perhaps the foundations aren't in place. Where am I going? So what is the vision? What are the goals? Although I said, sometimes we can strip the goals back and focus more on the journey of something. So I'll come back to that in a little bit. But I think to start off, what is the vision? What are you looking to try and achieve? What perhaps is your purpose in life? What are you trying to get out of work, out of life in general? And then looking at how you're going to get there. So how will I get there? That can be a SWOT, the goal setting, personal development, training, mentoring, coaching. Okay. So for me, I think it's recognizing these important questions in coaching and in conversations. So if it's in sports coaches, parents and team players, they can all recognize, these questions in sort of supporting an individual. And then in the workplace, it can be the line manager, team leaders or co-workers. So, really thinking about that person and that person's journey. The wellness wheel that I developed, and this can be developed to fit a particular sport, a particular organisation, a particular person. This one I've developed includes things that were specifically for a football team, and it looks at their development plan. So we link in there, what is their development plan, so we can have conversations around that. Understanding what is the elite mindset. There's a lot of sort of confusion out there of what that means, but let's explore it, let's look at it and say what that means to you as an individual. What are your performance attributes? What attributes do you need to be able to perform in your sport or in your workplace? And how do you score yourself on those? How are you doing? What areas can you improve? What areas can you build on? Fitness level. So fitness level in sports is very big, but I also think that can fit into the workplace. Are you coming to work sort of tired? Are you coming to work full of energy? That leads into sports nutrition or just nutrition in general, lifestyle choices. Management of a dual career was something I looked at in sports. Then this might also be applicable to people who are looking for promotion. So in the workplace, how do they work towards the job they're doing, but also to that promotion and to that sort of career planning? I think emotional well-being has to be something that is touched upon. And then also an understanding and ownership of a SWOT analysis. Okay. So there's quite a lot in there, and it's not something that for me is just achieved overnight. This is very much, you know, a long-term sort of process, whether it's sort of through the coaching, training, working relationships. One of the things that, and it was great when Sophia talked about that little voice in your head earlier, because one of the things I look at is where people think they're not good enough. So that's elite athletes, elite workers. We're probably all being told that we're not good at some point in our life, or it might be that little voice in our head that is saying that. So I work very much from this formula, which is performance equals potential minus interference. That came from a guy called Tim Galloway in the 1970s, and you know, one of the key people who sort of attributed his success to Tim was Tom Brady, who had very much been told at college his draft report was quite sort of brutal, and in fact sort of said he wasn't going to be good enough, and he turned out to be one of the, you know, the top quarterbacks there has been. So I think from that, none of us know what our potential is. And that's where when we set targets and we work to targets, sometimes they can get in the way because we kind of just work to them. But to me, we can go past and beyond that. Okay. So to me, that brings it into another guy who's done a lot of work, Dan Millman, the Peaceful Warrior. And that is very much focusing on a journey. Okay. And then, you know, planning that, doing it and reviewing it. So how did we feel when we were doing something? How did we behave? What could we do differently? So a lot of the time we can get defeats in a sporting arena, a lost sale, a poor performance month, and that can get us down, and that can make us feel that we're not good enough. But to me, it's about getting those learning points and how we can react, you know, showing some resilience, showing that we can adapt, but just enjoying that moment. Okay. So when I talk about interference can come from external or internal sources, although in most cases, even the external interference can be overcome by how we react. What are we in control of? Yeah. So for me, it's about awareness, either as an elite athlete or an elite worker. What are we doing at this moment in time? What are we looking to get out of what we are doing? So that goes back to that little voice in our head, which when we're looking at interference within, you know, sort of Tim Galloway describes this, we have a self one and a self two. And it's the self one that is actually the one that is kind of everything negative. It puts a lot of doubt in our mind and can prevent us from achieving what our potential really is. So for me, it's working with people to let that self two really take over and just see where it can take us. Okay. So I use something, and I use this with footballers, sort of mainly, and athletes, but it is something I think we can bring into the workplace. So it's this use of ABC. So I think the first thing is to look at is what is our intention in any given moment. So what is your intention today? Is what you're doing helping to achieve that? Are you moving away from your intention? Because at times we can. It's then take that little bit of a step, a little bit of a breather. So we've got awareness. Then we've got breathe. So whether it is a physical, non-physical, it's important just to be relaxed. So that little breath gives us that little time to sort of compose ourselves and then regain control. So how are you relaxed? What do you need to do to work towards your intention today? So we go through awareness, breathe, control. And then if we link that back into a plan, do and review, we can review what we did and then plan again of what we can do differently next time around to really improve on ourselves. Okay. So what my sort of offer is to conclude this is to elite athletes, elite workers, is during training sessions and coaching programs, can take part, explore how they can get good practice from elite athletes and take that into the workplace. So it's kind of like vice versa. So I think the elite athlete can learn from the elite worker, and the elite worker can learn from the elite athlete. And what I can do in Discord is put in a number of sort of free training and coaching available for, you know, a limited number of people, where I'm quite happy to work with people and just kind of really explore what they can achieve as individuals, whether that as an athlete or in the workplace.
Brilliant, Graeme. Thank you. I feel as though I had to adopt those techniques myself when I done the introduction. I certainly needed to compose myself, regain control, take that breathing, take that second, be aware of my surroundings, and then I can compose myself and work a lot better. I feel like when you're going 1,000,000 miles per hour and you're overclocking, you can tend to lose track of yourself. So that ABC, that awareness, breathing, and control is spot on. And I'm using that right now this second just to calm myself and to get myself composed. So thank you, Graeme. You're going to be putting everything into the Discord, so everybody watching, keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for Graeme's work. So that's Graeme Thorpe from GT.
Cheers. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Graeme.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. See you later, mate. Bye. So next up we have Matthew Protheroe-Hill. Again, he was one of our friends.
How are you doing?
Oh,
hello. You okay?
We've got to cut there. Hi, Matthew. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. So a brief introduction. Matthew is you're the owner of Sencode, which is again a pioneer in northeast-based UK SME. It's with new innovative approaches that tackle modern cybersecurity issues. So yeah, I hope that you're well, Matthew.
Very well, thanks.
Brilliant, good to hear. You're looking well too. Are you ready to take the floor?
Yeah, ready when you are.
Okay, spot on. Take it away, mate.
So yeah, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I hope you're all well. And I'd just like to start by firstly recognising the amazing work that the Gateway UK team have done to put this superb networking event together. And I think we can all agree that these sorts of networking events are often the lifeblood of growing businesses. And I'm really grateful to Steve and Joe and Kane that they've got us together like this, really to support one another and other businesses in the area, and to highlight new opportunities that might be available in the region, particularly as we're starting to emerge from the pandemic. So thank you very much for that. I've just got a few slides which I'd like to share with you, as I really want to, in this presentation, just highlight the opportunities there are for anyone interested in cybersecurity. So let's see if you can see my screen okay there. Okay. So Sencode Cybersecurity is a northeast-based SME that offers state-of-the-art security services and cyber awareness training to organisations that are really looking to improve the security posture of their digital systems. And our services are both aimed at being user-friendly and relatable to our clients, because we really believe in promoting a culture of security beyond compliance. So what we mean by that is that companies, when they're getting tested, they're not just doing it to tick a box. We really help companies to go that extra distance, make sure that they're actually fixing problems that we find and are actually making a difference to their security posture. So as mentioned, I'm a director, one of the 3 co-founders of Sencode Cybersecurity. And I think I'd just like to start by asking you a quick question. How much do you think the global cost of cybercrime is expected to be by the end of this year? So if just in your mind, if you try and imagine what you think that number might be, and I'll tell you in just a second, it's quite an astronomical amount. So cybercrime is expected to reach an annual global cost of $6 trillion, which is approximately 4.6 trillion pounds. So it's a huge amount. And cybercrimes continue to rise throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And again, that's unsurprisingly why cyber and information security services are continuing to outperform the market. We chose market representatives on LinkedIn, a lot of web developers, software developers, and asked them what their security pains were, what they needed solving, and these are the responses that we got. Generally speaking, across the board, the response was that it's too expensive. We're not in a position to pay for this at the moment, or it's not part of our budget. They also feel that there's a lack of expertise, and they really just want to make sure that any data that they're dealing with is ultimately secure. So in order to help digital innovators and founders to survive the financial impact that the restrictions have had, we need to help any adapting businesses who are faced with the necessity of making the transition to digital services, as I think Laura mentioned there, and mitigate the inherent cyber threats that come with that kind of transition, whilst tackling these main issues. To start with, we understand the difficulty that is often felt when wondering where to start with your security. So with this in mind, we offer all of our clients a free consultation and encourage anyone who's unsure about their security posture just to get in touch, reach out, have a chat with us. After all, it could save your business at the end of the day. So once we've determined the next best steps for a business, we will outline the scope. And this is essentially the parameters within which you'd want us to conduct a test. And just moving on to our services, our primary service that we offer is penetration testing. And those of you who are not familiar with the term, penetration testing involves the simulated cyber attack on a target infrastructure. And that could be a mobile app as well, or a web application. And these services are quotation based and depend on the size of the scope and the test. So next we have vulnerability assessments, and they're often confused with penetration tests, but it's a much less invasive security assessment, and it's available for those who either don't need the more thorough test or prefer not to go as in depth with their assessment. And these are also usually carried out using automated or manual tools to scan the target, and they really require a keen eye of an information security professional to interpret the scan results and then advise on remediation. And finally, we have our cybersecurity awareness training. And when it comes to being aware of the latest cyber threats, we think that no business should be left behind. Cyber criminals are now becoming more sophisticated in the way that they conduct themselves, often relying on humans being the weakest link in the chain. And we believe that it doesn't have to be this way. It's never been more important to be aware for staff of the current threats that are out there, and they are growing in both number and their level of sophistication. So it's really important to have a handle on it. Moving on from our services, we've got a number of other products that we've been developing over the last 12 months. Sencode Breaches, that's currently live now on our website. Now, this is a really handy tool to help you see if your email address has been compromised in any way in a data breach. So it collates modern and historical data breach information. If you go onto the site there, you can pop in your email address, and if it has been involved in a breach at all, that will flag up. It'll tell you what breaches that it's been involved with. And if that is the case, then it's probably time that you changed your password at least, potentially even your email address altogether. So I do urge you to have a go at that. It's a great tool to make sure that you're off the largely off the phishing radar, and make sure that your emails are safe. We've also got Sencode Argus. Argus is a reporting tool, not to be mistaken for Argos, the retail giant. And it makes our lives easier by making test reporting much, much quicker. as the reporting aspect of what we do can be quite a lengthy and time-consuming task. Sencode Learning, as well, as I mentioned before, is our training suite, which will offer comprehensive courses, and they can be tailor-made for any businesses. So it's in a state of continuing development, and that really just helps to ensure that the content is practical, it's engaging, and most importantly, it's relevant. Content will be online through our e-learning platform, which again is just in the making at the moment, and it will actually link Argus reports to the appropriate learning material. So just to simplify that, we do a test for a business, and we're then able to do a report quickly, and then that report will direct users to the appropriate training and teach them how to mitigate the problems that we found. So I just wanted to give you an idea as well of why we decided to start our business here, and more importantly, why we want to stay here in the Tees Valley. And one of the questions that crossed our minds when we were considering this was, how much investment in cybersecurity is there in the Northeast compared to everywhere else? And we were actually amazed to find that the amount is so small that the government don't even recognise it on their annual cyber sector report. So there's no significant investment reported in this region, yet we've got 2,905 digital tech businesses, and we're absolutely certain that they will require cybersecurity services. So we're now starting to see this change, but what's traditionally happening is companies that are starting up in the Northeast, digital companies, are requiring cybersecurity services from elsewhere, largely from down south. So let's just have another look at some of the metrics for the Northeast economy, and this really demonstrates how much there is in terms of new opportunities. So we have approximately 1%, it might be a little bit higher, of registered cybersecurity companies. We've got 30,000 people employed in digital tech. We have a 1.26 billion turnover. And as we've seen on the previous slide, 2,905 digital tech businesses. So the last point in the grey bubble there is something that we really want to emphasise, and that is that the Northeast has the highest number of students studying STEM-related subjects. So what on earth is happening? And it looks a bit like this. Money is taking flight out of the region, but not only that, we're also seeing the talent follow it. So as opportunities arise down south, the services are provided by other regions, and of course we're losing the talent pool as well. So this is something that we really wanted to address. And on further investigation, we found that cybersecurity is worth 8.3 billion in the UK. Its estimated revenue increased by 46% in just 2 years. That was between 2017 and 2019. And only 10% of micro cybersecurity businesses dissolve each year, as opposed to 60% for all other startups in general. And the main barrier to growth in cyber is access to skilled workers. So that's a pretty bleak picture that is portrayed of our region. It's a region that's brimming with new talent, but completely void of investment. And it's currently failing to retain that talent locally. So, as I mentioned, we wanted to flip the script on this and contribute to making the Northeast the epicenter of quality digital services in the UK, while strengthening the security posture of other businesses. And ultimately, that will help minimise the damage to the economy and create jobs for students, to whom we'll also be able to offer world-class training. So in the past, on our journey, our commitment to community-driven learning has given rise to net ethical hacking at Teesside University. So if there's any students listening that are interested in getting involved in cyber, NET is a society that nurtures talent and passion for cybersecurity, and it has peer-to-peer learning as its core value. And since we co-founded it in 2017 with other like-minded students, it's continued to grow. It's won multiple awards and has now had over 100 members. Sencode are continuing to support NET as it enters its 4th year now, and provides them with access to Sencode learning materials where members, just like we were once, can not only learn and grow, but also give us valuable feedback on our content. And as we grow together, and with the help of Gateway, of course, and the other support network, we are hoping to create job opportunities for the right candidates, and thus intercepting some of the talent that is grown locally. So if you're interested in getting into this field and you're at university, come say hi. I can give you some more details of that. And that pretty much wraps it up from me. Thank you so much for listening. And if you've got any questions, I'll be on the Discord channel throughout the afternoon. So please come say hi. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Matthew. I'll let you in on a little secret. I went to Sencode breach. I typed in one of my old emails and it's been breached.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's my old fit. Like I've had my Facebook since like 2015, 2014, and apparently Zynga Poker in 2018 was breached. So that's left my my email address liable. So thank you for that. Thanks for
You're
bringing
very
that
welcome.
to
You're very
attention.
welcome. It's surprising.
Yeah.
Another way you can spot it is particularly if you're starting to get a lot of marketing emails and you know there's probably something amiss. But
Yeah.
that tool's free. It's there on our website. It's a good idea to check all your email addresses and
Yeah.
say if they are breached at all. Probably best to at least, very least, change your password.
Yeah, certainly. I think that you're best to drop that link in the Discord. Let
Will
people
do.
have a little work about. It'd be quite complimentary. So thank you very much, Matthew. I really
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
it. Thank you for your
Thanks for having
time.
me.
See you later, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye now. Yes, so we're going to wrap up and have a quick break for 15 minutes or so. Just before we have the break, just letting you guys know that the Digital City Acceleration Programme has started up again. And the application dates are due on the 1st of February. So if you go online and type in Digital Acceleration Programme, you can go there and they'll offer loads of different workshops for everything digital. So that's us. 15-minute break or so, wrap up. I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I'm going to boost myself up a little bit, and I'll be back at 12 with Mr. Mike Hind, MBE. So that'll be brilliant. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Next, we're introducing Mr. Mike Hind, MBE. He is a multi-award winning personal trainer. He's a director of a multi-award winning meal prep company and gym. He was awarded the MBE, that's the Member of British Excellency, very recently. Hello, Mike. Hello. Is your audio on?
Yeah, I'm Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry again, I'm having some delay issues, but that's all right. So you were awarded the Member of British Excellency recently. Congratulations. That's honestly quite the achievement. Does that mean I can call you sir? Can I call you sir, Mike?
Yeah.
Can I give you one of those?
I've been called a lot worse.
That's class. I've followed everything that happened with Dibsy. I know that you got a lot of publicity for that, and honestly, that's such a great and honourable thing that you've done. And that's sort of where I've heard about you and stuff, and then researching you into more. Honestly, like you do a lot, and I'm really, really proud to have you. So, are you ready to take the field?
Yeah, we'll go for it, mate. Yeah, let's start.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Guys, I'm probably going to be a little bit different to a lot of the speakers who have already been on and who are going to be on, because most of them are pretty well educated and have good education and a lot to say. For me, I'm probably not the best person to give you business advice. I'll tell you how I started, how I got to where I am, and the struggles which I faced along the way. And you can take from it what you want, but hopefully the one thing that you will take from it is a little bit of reality that it doesn't matter where you start in life, it matters where you want to go in life. And the only thing what's going to ever hold you back is going to be you. And I'm going to take you back now to when I first started and through school. So through school, hated it, never went, made any excuse not to go. Left school with no qualifications whatsoever. Mum and dad was a steel worker, mum was a cook in Asda, and then they never had money. We lived in South Bank, we grew up in South Bank, and then from then we moved into Teesside. Going into secondary school, I absolutely hated everything about it. I was a skinny kid. I was the one who ran home from school when he was there. I was bullied, picked on, and I've been through quite a bit of, pardon my French, but quite a bit of shit in my life in terms of the things that I've faced. And I can only say that that's probably made me the person in which that I am today. And from that, I served my time as a joiner, so I was heavily involved in the construction industry. Worked my way up within a local authority as a joiner, went back to college for the first time and got a BTEC, a national diploma in building services, and got the opportunity to go to quite a high level. I decided against that, and I decided to take a risk on my own business. And I started that by selling, I don't know if anyone can remember them, but they're called flossies, and the shoes which were like little throwaway things, and going back maybe 10 years ago, they were about £25 a pair. And I started off selling them, and I sold them on regular car boot sale, and I'd turn up at 6 in the morning, I'd go and collect them from Sunderland, I'd drive back, I'd then load the back of my car, and I'd drive up and set a pace table up, and I'd sell them. And believe it or not, from that, I went from selling 2 or 3 pair to taking home £2,000-3,000 on a Sunday. And that was, all the other market traders were talking about me. They were selling pushchairs and stuff like that, and I'd come in like this new kid on the block and stole the show. And from that, I realised that I was actually quite a good salesman, and I was a good salesman because I give people what they wanted, and I didn't have to upsell anything. I didn't have to try and force a sale. It was just a matter of people wanted a shoe, and I provided the shoe. And from that, I made a little bit of money, and I decided that I'd follow my dream and I'd get involved in the fitness industry. And going back to when I left school, I joined a gym, started training, and found a love for fitness and the things that went along with it. And I realised that through school, I was scared and worried about a lot of what people thought about me. And I was scared of these kids at school. And I look at them now and I think, what on earth was I scared and frightened about with you? When I was going into a gym with 20 stone men who were ripped to shreds, and they were nice to me and they were kind to me, and it made me realise that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and I should not take people on face value, and I should take the time to meet and learn about people. And that's probably what humbled me quite a lot. From then, I opened a clothing brand which was called Mass Body Development, and started off selling from my dining room, and then I opened an industrial unit in Skippers Lane in South Bank, and I sold clothing from there. The story is going to just go fast forward a little bit to when I opened my first gym. I wanted to open a gym. I didn't have no money. The money that I had was all tied up in clothes, which we were bringing in from Pakistan, and we had a lot of money tied up in that. And I got an opportunity to take a unit, but I didn't have any funds available. So instead of me sitting there thinking, well, I'm going to do it in 5 years' time, 6 years' time, that's what really got me started within social media and how I started using it to my advantage. And basically, I told the world what I wanted to do, and I put it public on social media. And I said, I want to open a gym. This is my plan, but I've got no money. So what I've done is I said, I'm going to sell membership to a gym that didn't exist. And I offered 100 memberships at £100. And within, I reckon, 24 hours, I had £10,000 in my pocket. And that was mad because there wasn't a gym there. It was an old building which had nothing in it. But I had £10,000. I thought, right now, I need to turn this £10,000 into a gym. And I made the promise to my members that £10,000 what I put in the gym would be the start. I'd reinvest everything that I earn to try and make the gym grow and develop. And that's exactly what I did. I searched eBay. I traveled around the country and I picked up machines, old machines, battered, and sprayed them up and got them looking nice. And I built the gym, and as I say, I built it with zero money, with no funding, with no grants, nothing. And it was crazy to think that I could do that. And in the early days, I used to get a lot of professional bodybuilders down to do talks and seminars, and I learned from a lot of them. And one of them was a coach, and they call him the real technician. People probably would have heard of him. He's an American guy called Chris Acito. And Chris Acito is a coach for many top-level boxers. Sean Roden, Jay Cutler, he's their coach, and paid £2,000 to get him down to my gym and do a seminar for an hour. And generally, they come in, they sit on the bench, they talk and go. This Chris Acito come in, he took a real interest in what I was doing, and he said, hey, Mike, how did you start this? So my accent's not the best, but he said, how did you start it? So basically, I told him the story, and he said, let me stop you. He said, I'm going to tell you a story now. He said, about a guy who owned a mall in America, rich guy, one of the richest guys in our state. He owns a mall in America. And he said, we were going one day, he went to show me this elevator. He built this glass elevator in his mall. He said, and it was the first one in the state. And he was taking me to show me it, and we had an entourage of cars, and we were going down. He said, we drove past his mall. He said, there was like a little bit of where there was a toilet in the underside of some escalators. He said, there was a guy there. He said, he was selling shoes out of a bag. And he said, all of a sudden, he said, this guy, he said, stop the car. And he stopped the car, and Chris, what are you doing? He went, that guy there selling shoes. And Chris went, leave him. He said, he's trying to earn a few quid. He's not hurting nobody. He said, that guy there, he said, is the guy I'm worried about. He said, because the people in that mall who are renting the unit off me, he said, they are made. He said, they're happy in life. They don't want anything else. He said, with him, he said, he's prepared to go where no one else can go. He said, and he is my competition, because one day he's going to try and overtake me. He said, he's not interested in having a shop inside my mall. He wants them all. And that story stuck with me forever. And it's something that I always go back to thinking about. And from there, it really helped me develop my business. And I went from owning a gym, training clients, and I've got quite a lot of good clients on my books: Premier League footballers, champion boxers, bikini athletes, celebrities, to name a few. Frank Bruno, I've trained them. We can go on forever. But one day, I was sponsored by a meal prep company, and this meal prep company sponsored me, and they gave me my food and said, look, Mike, we just want you to push it to your clients. And somebody said to me, he said, Mike, why aren't you doing that? And I said, well, it's not my forte. I can't cook. I can't do anything with it. It's not my thing. And it got me thinking about that story that Chris told me about that man under the escalators. And I thought, no, he's right. He's got a point. I need to go back to that. So I opened a company we call Macro-Based Diner. And Macro-Based Diner is a healthy meal prep company. I'm not going to come on here and try and plug it because, quite frankly, we don't need to. I just want to hopefully inspire you to believe in yourself. And I opened Macro-Based Diner because my clients were getting results, and you've probably seen them across social media, the weight loss transformations that I've done with many people, and most notably, as you said earlier on, Dibsy. But the one thing I always struggle with is getting people to eat the right foods and the right amount of foods. And if I was telling somebody that you had to weigh out 120 grams of chicken and 100 grams of rice, the likelihood is they wouldn't weigh it out. They'd have a bowl of rice and they'd have a breast of chicken. The problem is with that is it's great to start eating healthy, but there's no continuity of it. And it's a little bit the same way in business. You can start off with an idea, and unless you develop that idea, you're never going to grow it. So what I decided to do is to get this meal prep company to cook for me. And the offer to them was, you cook for me, I'll tell you what to put in the food, and I'll create my own business. And they didn't want that. So I said, well, we've got two options in this, and that's either that you cook for me and work with me and grow with me, or I'll become your competition. And I don't think they quite believed me. So the next day, I went and I bought a unit. I bought a unit which I once rented. And I once rented it and I was kicked out. I was kicked out of that unit. And I was hung out to dry by some people who were supplying me, and they hung me out to dry. And I remember getting kicked out of this unit, and one day I said to them, I want to take that unit back. And then, unbeknown to them, the unit went up for sale. And I walked in and I bought it cash. And I was very lucky to be able to do so. And that's a testament to hard work and growth and development. But with all that, it all sounds exciting. It's great. There's ways you can grow your business, and there's ways you can do things. And there's a lot more stories what go along the way than that. And we've only got 15 minutes, so I don't really have the time to tell you it all. But I'd love to chat more and inspire you, hopefully. But with that comes a lot of negativity. And the issue with negativity is social media. And if anybody's got social media, it's great, and it can be a weapon or it can be a tool. And a lot of people are using this as a tool, and others are using it as a weapon. And with all the great stuff that happens, comes a lot of negativity, because the one thing I'll never ever forget is that without the people who supported me in business, the people of Teesside, the ones who paid me that £100 when I had nothing, the ones who come with the car boot sale and bought shoes off me, without them, I wouldn't be anything. And they've given to me an opportunity to become something in life, and I'll never ever forget that. And it's something that I will always endeavour to repair. And that's why I set out to try and repair people in any way that I can. And that starts with the transformations. It starts with me giving one person a year, unlimited training, unlimited food, and I supply all of it free of charge. And I don't have to. And I've done it many years before the Dibsy story took off. And the Dibsy story took off and it become worldwide known simply because I banned it from takeaways. Without that, it'd have been another success story. It wouldn't have been as focused as it was. But when the pandemic hit, my gym shut. I had no revenue from my gym, but I have 10 members of staff who work for me. And what I decided to do is I decided that I would, every penny that my meal prep company made, I would invest into feeding people who need it. And I'll be quite honest with you, when I first started, I didn't think there would be as much demand as there is. And I've spent probably £45,000 of my own money feeding people. And people can say you've made money doing this and you've got advertisement doing that. And that's all great. It's fantastic. But you know what? As long as someone benefits from it, then that's what matters. So throughout the pandemic, I decided I would feed people who need it. And I travelled 7 days a week for 12 hours a day, driving around Teesside through the 4 different councils, Middlesbrough, Stockton, Hartlepool and Darlington, and then into Darlington. And then I fed anybody who needed food, they got it, and they just started putting requests on the website, and I went around and done it. And I couldn't judge people. There was a lot of people who I turned up at their door, and my initial thought was, do they really need it? Because they've got 2 Audis on the drive and a £500,000 house. But we don't know the circumstances of them people, who they're self-isolating with their furloughed, with their bills far outweighing what was coming in now because of coronavirus. And again, because I learned not to judge people by what I perceived, I learned that them people probably did need help, and it probably took a hell of a lot for them to ask for help because they were probably so proud. And then the one story what I'll always remember was the one where I turned up to a little girl's house in Saltburn, and on the door there's a sign that said, "Mike Hind, you're my hero." And this story hits me so hard, and I can only tell you how hard it really does hit me. And, it always gets me choked up. But she stood at the window, this little girl, and she was about 9-year-old, and she was in floods of tears. And all I was doing was turning up bread, milk, some meals from my meal prep company, some essentials, some cereal, and a little bar of chocolate for her. And that little girl was in tears. And that's happening right on our doorstep, right here in Teesside. Yeah, I get a lot of the time, bullies, trolls, whatever you want to call them, calling me all sorts on Facebook saying, he's doing it for this, he's doing it for that. So what I'm trying to say to you in this sense is, no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad in life, you're going to get positives and negatives in it. And if I'd have stopped when all them things started, when people started making the videos of me, when people started opening up accounts on dating sites of me, when WhatsApp groups were created about me, and you was watching this now, half of you will have probably seen the videos, you'll probably had a giggle at them. And you know what? In the first instance, so did I, until things started getting personal, until I was driving down the road and someone trying to ram me off him, until they started using some of the people I was helping as bait. And it really did get to me. And it was at that point I had to question myself, is do I really want to continue? And do I really want to continue being kind? And do I really want to continue helping people? And can I face this? I'll be openly honest with you guys. I take medication for anxiety, stress and depression. It's something that I face every single day. And back in the early days, I drove my car at 160 miles an hour and tried to take my own life. And that's not, I'm telling you that for sympathy. What I'm trying to tell you that for is that, people only see the one side of business. And like many business owners only will tell you how great it is to, I live in a nice house, I've just bought it, I drive a nice car. But you know what? That doesn't come free. And whether that's a mental attitude or whether it's a physical attitude, it doesn't come free. So what I'm going to tell you now, guys, is that in business, it's hard. It's hard physically and it's hard mentally. But do it right. Coaches, and this is how I'm going to say it. I'll tell you now, you can take it or leave it as advice. Don't listen to all these people who go on Facebook and tell you that every day you're going to be positive, every day you're going to do this, every day, we can make you rich, we can make that, because I'll tell you why, guys, it's absolute bullshit. Because the real side of business is it's hard. You're going to work 12 hours a day. You're going to sacrifice when your mates are going out. You're not going to go on the holidays. You're not going to be the happy-go-lucky person that you want to wear every single day. And you're not going to do that because if you really want to make a success of your business, it'll fail for two reasons. And it was one, that it was never a business in the first place, or two, you haven't worked hard enough. With that comes the people who you surround yourself with in the team. I'm really, really blessed that I've got an amazing team. My staff are absolutely amazing, but I'll tell you now, I treat every one of them like my family. I buy the first car, I take them on holidays, I pay for it all myself. And I don't do that because I want them to be holding me. I do that because I want to thank them for the work that they do, because without them coming into work 7 days a week when I need them to, or 24 hours a day when they're called upon, it wouldn't be that. And if your staff have an invested interest in your business, they're far more likely to go that extra mile. And with that, I was lucky enough this year to get a text message, or I got an email. I got an email which regarded that. And that I thought was a joke when it come through. So I got an email saying, do you accept it? Boris Johnson has made a recommendation to the Queen that you are awarded a member of the British Empire. And I thought it was a joke. And to be honest, I didn't respond at first until they phoned me and it was a really posh voice. And I thought it was another one of these trolls winding me up. And that's honestly what I thought. But I got that. But that's not a testament to me. Although it's my name before that, and it's them letters after my name. That's a testament to Teesside and the people who supported me when I didn't believe in myself. So in regards to how that come about, that's something which I'm really, really proud of. I could take you through hundreds of magazines that I've been in. I can take you through TV shows that I've appeared on. I can tell you celebrities that I've met. But you know what? The biggest satisfaction that I've ever had in life is knowing that I've made a difference to somebody. Forget all the awards. 4 times Best Personal Trainer, Lifetime Achievement Award, Swiss Media Awards. I've just beat Anthony Joshua, Jack Grealish, Ian Wright, and Lincoln Moses being in the Sports Excellence Awards. All them things are fantastic. And I should really be putting them all over my socials, saying, come and spend your money with me, invest in me. Business is difficult, business is hard, but business is one of the things that you will fall down more times than you succeed. You will hit the floor so hard, you're not sure if you can get up. And the only ones who will survive this are those who are prepared to get up and be hit on the head so many times when you know you're doing well. I've done once and I helped a disabled kid who was getting bullied, and I got a lot of bodybuilders around him. We got him a helmet so he could go to the skate park. And it was put on social media saying he's exploiting the disability in a child. And I wasn't. I was trying to trying to make him believe in himself and give him a bit of worth and a bit of confidence. You know, I've done it with Dibsy. People said he doesn't have the experience to train somebody like that. He's going to kill him. He's going to do this. A year later, we sit there with the UK's biggest weight loss ever, 20 stone in a year. And I didn't do that. I give him the tools to do it. I give him the experience to do it. I give him the last 12 years of my advice. But it's him who turned up every single day to go on that treadmill. It's him who chose to put the food that I supplied him in his mouth. It's him who chose not to go to the takeaway that night. And that's the same goes for business. It's you who chooses to go out with your pals, or whether you choose to work hard. It's up to you whether you clock off at 4 o'clock when the doors close, or whether you carry on working until 12:30, 2 o'clock in the morning when no one else is there and everyone else is in bed. And people will tell you, you know, you need to rest. It's really important that you rest. It is. From business, you don't really get much of it. And that's for the longevity of stuff. And as I said to you, there's a lot of speakers on here who are doing amazing, who have got loads of advice to give you. All I will tell you now, guys, is my business is being built with hard work, with trust, and with loyalty. And it's always with the customer in mind, no matter what it is. And if you can say that you've done something to the best of your ability and your main focus is to provide a service which is over and above what any customer could expect. And I always do this. My team, sometimes they hate me for it, but I always make them go into my business with a notepad and a pen. I tell them to walk around for an hour. I tell them to pick any single fault that they can find with that building, with the gym, with the service. And it might be the fact that there's a cable loose on the floor. It might be a fact that the water machine hasn't been filled up. I make them pick the faults, because if we concentrate all the time on what's good in life, we're never going to improve. And although it's really, really important to congratulate the well-doing and the goodness that you do, it's also really good to look at the stuff what you don't do well. And that's where the haters come in. And that's where the haters have developed me in so many ways. And that's what I want to tell you. You are going to get haters. You are going to get trolls and people who don't believe in you. And then people have actually made me succeed, because I'd like to tell you now that then people remind me when I do things wrong, when maybe I could have done things differently, because my friends and my followers who support me on social media will praise anything that I do. And Mike, you're amazing, you've done this and you've helped that, you're a great guy. And I absolutely love them comments and they mean the world to me. But the haters will probably and go, did you really have to do that? And then I get in my mind thinking, well, did I have to do that? Did I do that wrong? Could I have done it differently? And it gives me an incentive then to maybe think, look, I'll try that. And without knowing it, them haters, they're responsible for things like that MBE. They're responsible for the reason that I win awards, and they're responsible for the reason why over the past 24 months I've probably become a household name, why I'm lucky enough to have my Instagram and Facebook account verified. So you do get benefits to it and you do get advantages to it, but you've just got to take them dark days. And I'm not going to sit here and preach to you all and tell you that, you know, it's so important that we focus on positivity, because there's probably people out there who are better than that and me. All I'll tell you now, guys, is that one day there's a sight in your mind and a dream in your mind that only you can see, and you have to have the confidence and the desire to be able to sacrifice those exciting and promising times. And the last 12 months should be a testament to that, because we've all just been through the darkest days that we can ever imagine, something that we'll probably never, ever, ever going to experience in our lifetime again. And we've just been through that together. And I think if I can ask you all to do one thing for me, it's to use your social media to support those who need it. Don't follow the influencers and the ones who, you know, you don't go out and follow the people who've got all the money and they're looking at it and you're thinking, oh my God, I want that life and I want that car, because then people put them things on there and it's all right looking up and aspiring to be that. But let's be honest, people can get that now with an OnlyFans account. You know, you don't really have to work hard anymore. If you really want something like that, you'll probably do that by having an OnlyFans account. And realistically, are we going to sit down when we are 50-year-old and tell our kids, yeah, it was really good and we opened an OnlyFans account and become really rich from it? Or we're going to sit there and say we create a legacy and something that people can remember and aspire to be. So this is the way that I've grew and I've developed. And I'll be honest with you, I absolutely love Teesside more than I can ever tell any of you and the people in it. But there's a small proportion of that will really make me question humanity. And at some stage in your life, you will face that. You will face that question of, why do I bother? And it's up to you how you react to that. And let me tell you that every time you fall down, you've got to get up, and you're going to fall down far many more times than you've ever imagined, and you're going to get up twice as many, because every time you fall, you'll get up, you'll fall down, you'll get up, you'll take 2 steps forward, you'll get 3 back. That's business. That's life. And it's not perfect. If anybody's got any questions, guys, social media for me is massive. I use Instagram and I use Facebook. I know we've had a lot of talk about LinkedIn. And people are probably a lot more educated than where I am. So I'm probably not great for LinkedIn, but Instagram and Facebook is where I do my work. And if anyone's got any questions, I'll be more than happy to assist you on them. So thank you for having me, Gateway. You're doing an amazing thing. I've loved speaking to everyone on there, and we could go on forever, but that's my story, and that's where I got to where I am.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Honestly, there was some very sobering thoughts there. Very inspirational. Definitely some trials and tribulations. And all I can do is thank you for the motivation and the help that you provide to a lot of people. I'm going to go to the gym.
Lads, come down. The offer's there, guys. All you who are watching this now, if you want to come down and do a session, I'll do a free session. We'll put it together. We'll have a boot camp one we can do, so we can't do it yet. But when restrictions lift and we train together, come down. Let's have a session together. Let's everyone train. Let's get a positive mental attitude, and let's put fitness at our forefront. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how good my business is and where you should be. So that's my story.
I can't wait. Honestly, I cannot wait. I'll be there straight away.
Been an honour, guys. Have a great day. Stay positive. One more thing. Stop. One more thing.
Thank you very
Go
much.
to Morrison's and buy a grab bag. Yeah. All of you, go and buy one between £2 and £2.20. Teesside Park, Stockton, Redcar, and Morton Park and Darlington. We've raised £33,633 to feed 2,833 kids who will go without at Christmas. If you don't go and buy that now, or today, or before Friday, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, Jim, then Morrison.
Morrison's first. Listen,
Morrison's
first. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Thank you. See you later, mate. Have a great day. Okay, that was Mike Hind. Next up, we have Marie Ranson from Key Wellbeing. Marie's coming in now. Hello, Marie. I'll give you a quick introduction. Let this delay sort itself out. So Marie is the director of Key Wellbeing. She was on the funding course with us from Fuel earlier previously, so we've got acquainted there. She's a workforce wellbeing and organisational change consultant. She's the female founder. She's trained in behavioural psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, and growth mindset adaptation. So this is Marie. Take the floor if you're good with that.
Sure. I'm going to share my screen.
Real.
Let me know. Sharing screen 2 monitors.
I'll give you the go ahead once it's up and working, just to make sure that's all runs smoothly.
We got it.
Oh, that's fancy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you. And good afternoon. So my name is Marie Ranson, and I'm going to be taking you through some super cool stuff about workforce wellbeing today. So I'll give you a little intro about Key Wellbeing to kick off. So we're a workforce wellbeing company with a simple mission to help employees to thrive, not just survive at work. So we work with our clients to support them to create cultural change within their organizations, helping them to really lead people first and to open up conversations around mental health and well-being at work. So we have 2 co-founders. There's myself, and I am a Teesside graduate, and my background is in corporate business development, and I'm also a coach and motivational speaker on things like female confidence and empowerment. And I've also been living in Australia for the last 10 years. If you're trying to place my accent, that's where it is from. And Melissa Armstrong, who amongst many talents is an experienced company trainer and who has more holistic therapy qualifications than I can count. And Melissa is also hanging over on Discord today, so please feel free to drop your comments and questions in the chat box over there as we go through. So Mel and I are both from Teesside, and we've both been living and breathing all things well-being for the last about 5 years. And we've both seen and personally experienced the impact that mental ill health can have in our community, especially in 2020. And we're on a mission to improve this. So what are we going to cover today? So we're going to kick off by looking at the case for wellbeing, workforce wellbeing in 2020. I'll give you 3 pointers to look out for to understand if an organisation takes staff wellbeing seriously when you're job seeking or looking for a new role. And then we'll look at 5 key things that should be included in any good workforce wellbeing program. And all 5 of these things help us with our mental health, and these are things that you can even practice yourself. So most organisations today understand that in order to attract and retain good people, they've really got to look after them. And of course, wellbeing programs are a win-win for everybody because they can create savings for the organisation by reducing things like sickness days, presenteeism and staff turnover. And wellbeing programs can improve company reputation and also tackle issues like low engagement, overwork and burnout. But of course, 2020 is the year that many of us started working from home, and it's thrown in some new challenges into the mix, into the world of wellbeing. And I've got a few stats for you. So funnily enough, in the past, I think that we were sometimes maybe guilty of associating remote workers with doing less work, maybe watching TV, sitting with their feet up at home, when in actual fact, this is far from the truth. What we're actually seeing this year is an increase in working hours. Recently, Microsoft released its Work Trend Index report, which surveyed over 6,000 participants around the world. And the data revealed that the average length of a working day has increased by 17% in Japan, 27% in the UK, and a whopping 45% in Australia, which are, of course, all significant increases. We've got less work-life balance and more work-life blur, largely because we've got more communication than ever, and it's really hard to disconnect now. And this can really add extra strain onto our existing challenges that we might be facing at home with partners or family. And lastly, we've got the issue of isolation when working from home, a lack of inclusion and just feeling distant from people, right? You might have experienced this yourself. And data compiled by Total Jobs in November this year found that 7 in 10 said that they were feeling more lonely in 2020 and that this was actually impacting their productivity. But it's not all bad. 2020 has also been the year to highlight the importance of well-being and looking after our people. We're starting to see workforces become more human, and we're starting to get to know the people behind the suits that we were used to seeing in the office. And for many, this has been really refreshing. So people are starting to open up more about mental health, and you've probably noticed this a little bit in the media. We've got celebrities like Stephen Fry, Prince Harry, and even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson openly talking about their struggles. So all in all, the pandemic has really underlined what we always knew, that individually and collectively as a whole, well-being is everything. So having a wellbeing framework in place that creates confidence, supports staff, and boosts their ability to perform well in our ever-changing world is crucial for organizations and for us as employees or business owners. So how can you tell if an organization is taking wellbeing seriously? I wanted to give you a few pointers that you can keep in mind when evaluating some of the organizations that you might want to work for. So first of all, remember that at an interview, you are just as much interviewing the company as they are interviewing you, the candidate. So when given the opportunity, you can ask questions like, what initiatives do you have in place to ensure good staff well-being here? Or how do you track and improve employee well-being at this company? When listening to the answer, you really want to feel like the organization places their people first. You're going to spend a lot of time there, so you really want to be hearing that. Maybe they have a well-being program, benefits around health and fitness, or free access to things like counseling and external support. Just remember that we spend so much of our waking day at work, and it's really important to find an organization that values its people and their happiness. And if you're starting your own business, you want to be prioritizing that for yourself as well. And speaking of values, it's also a good idea to see if an employer has a good values match for you. And you can usually find information on the values of an organization on things like their website, their company literature, or even on their social media. And speaking of, remember that it's one thing to say for a company to say that they've got certain values, but are they living them? So look for evidence in the media, on their social channels, and again, ask at interviews. If they say that they have a value of trust, ask them how they're bringing that value of trust to life within the organization, because this can actually tell you a lot about the management style that you might be about to experience by digging a little deeper into their culture with questions like these. So if it's no secret that employees feel valued when an organization cares about their well-being, and that by looking after people, an organization can actually save money, what are some of the things that we should be looking out for that should be included in any well-being program, and some of the things that we can practice ourselves? I'm going to share with you the 5 ways to well-being at work, which is woven through everything we do here at Key Wellbeing. And these are things that cost little, if anything, and can even be practiced by us all personally today. So let's go through them. So the first one is to connect. So with any organization, we want to be providing opportunities for employees to connect with each other and to connect with their leaders, virtually or otherwise. So this could be setting up informal and social opportunities to meet and encouraging initiatives for staff to get to know each other and their peers, maybe by sharing their interests. And of course, communication is key. So we're far better off over-communicating than under-communicating to create more certainty, psychological safety, and connection amongst our teams. So you want to be looking out for that one. The second one is being active. So the links between physical activity and productivity are now well documented, as is the link between physical health and mental health. We all know that we always feel better for taking a walk around the block or getting into nature or hitting the gym. So we want to be promoting the simple idea of taking breaks to move. That's for ourselves and within organizations. So whether that is a 15-minute yoga break, a quick walk around the block, or a decent workout before work, this is something that we all want to be considering and striving to prioritize. Other ideas for being active within organizations, or when you are running your own business, for example, is setting up walking meetings. So can we make any of our non-visual meetings phone-based? And we could have group phone calls, right? And we can encourage walk and talks for all participants. The next one is learning. So when thinking about creating mentally healthy workplace cultures and giving people the confidence to have open conversations about it, we really want to be considering that information is key. So look out for organizations who are providing access to development opportunities. Understand how and if an employer is willing to invest in you, giving you the tools that you need to perform at your best. For example, any good workplace wellbeing program should have guidance on things like handling stress at work, managing anxiety, mental health awareness training, and effective remote working and things like that. So really look out for those things to understand if an organization is taking employee wellbeing seriously. The next one is giving. This is the simple act of kindness. So giving back to the community, local charities, and internally letting your staff know that you care. So you want to be looking out for initiatives like this. So this is really simply giving others our time, setting up a buddy system, or if budget allows within the organization, sending out little care packages maybe to our teams. It's now almost winter, and so we've seen companies actually doing this really well and sending out warming gloves and some healthy tea and maybe even little chocolate treats, because these little inexpensive things really help people to know that you care. And the final one, and perhaps the most important one, and I want us to practice it here together today. So the fifth and final one is to take notice. And this might just be the hardest one for some of us because it involves stopping, taking a deep breath, and taking some time to notice how we're really feeling. And I mean how we're really feeling. Without the busy, without the noise, and without the distractions. And in doing so, we can start to tap into what it is that we really need in that moment. Do we need to ask for help? Do we simply need to move our body or get some fresh air? Do we need some extra skills to help us better cope with our new challenges? And one of the best ways to take notice is through meditation or mindfulness, or simply choosing to be more focused on the present moment. So let's summarize the 5 ways to well-being at work. So we've got connect with our team leaders and even ourselves, being active, so getting moving, taking breaks, encouraging physical activity. We've got learning, so knowledge is power and it can help us all to grow. Giving, so the simple act of kindness. We've got giving, the simple act of kindness. We've got take notice, stopping to really and truthfully check in to what it is that we really need in that moment. So that about wraps it up. So if you would like to chat further with us about employee wellbeing or starting a business in Teesside, Melissa and I are here, and you can find us on Discord. And if you'd like to find out more about our wellbeing platform and some of the support that we can offer to organizations, we can also set that up for you. So we do offer a range of services from wellbeing strategy consulting to an on-demand employee wellbeing platform, and we're always open to discussing all things wellbeing. And you can find out more about our stuff over at our website, which is www.keywellbeing.co.uk. So our contact details are here. So take a screen grab now, or you can message us on all the usual channels, connect with us on LinkedIn, drop us an email, catch us on Discord. And I think that's all from me. So thank you so much for inviting me on today, and we'll catch you over in the chat.
Thank you. I like that. I like that interactive piece. It really got me aligned and in control again.
Take a moment.
Yeah, namaste. It really puts me back into focus and control. I was tempted to go into the lotus position over on my footrest and just meditate there for a little bit, but
extra point.
Yeah, I can't be doing that right now. Thank you very much, Marie.
No worries.
So everything's going to be in the Discord, all the resources there, all the social medias and stuff. So I'm happy with that. Brilliant. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, Marie.
No worries.
See you later now. So next we have Mr. Lee Flanagan from Bespoke Finance. Lee's coming in now.
Hello,
Lee. I'll give you 1 second just for this little delay.
Hi, mate, how are you?
I'll give a little brief bio introduction just to let this little delay sort itself out. So this is Lee Flanagan from Bespoke Finance. He is the lead bespoker from the financial group. Their group is an award-winning Prims firm ranking at number 1. They have a team of over 50 incredible staff members, and they're growing every day brick by brick. I'm having a little bit of a latency issue. I'm not too sure if that's my end or your end. I'm just going to quickly figure out whether or not, because it's a little bit glitchy. I'm just going to make sure that we can wrap that all up before you start talking, so there's no issues. I'll just find out now whether or not that's me or not. So yeah, give us a quick talk so I can just measure your audio.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. I heard that you're a West Lane, right? West Lane lad.
Yeah, West Lane, the Winniebank side. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. Do you know Ashbrook Way? I don't know if you know, just at the back end of the team.
God bless, God's country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you and I are alike in many ways. I'll let you take the floor now because I'm having a bit of a web issue, but I'll let you take the floor now. So take it away. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a build-up that was. So good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today. I'm very honoured. I'm very grateful. Being a very proud Teessider from the Winniebanks area, this means a lot to me. It's something that I sort of dreamt about a long time ago and have sort of manifested itself into reality. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, speaking things into existence. So this is a really, it's really important to me, this one, try to help local young Teessiders. So here we go. So my name's Lee Flanagan. I'm lead bespoker at a company called Bespoke Financial Group. The reason I don't come on here and say I'm CEO or director or MD is because we're all bespokers, which means we're all exactly the same. That's very important to myself and Michelle, my business partner, that every single one of us, from the tea lady up to the advisors to administration staff, we're all exactly the same. And everyone gets treated the same. Same as what Mike just said there. I'm going to just say congratulations to the guys who've been on. It was brilliant, that. Thank you. So I'm from the Winniebanks area. Like I say, I can't come on here and tell you about getting a business passed to me by my dad and sort of like putting some of the methods that I learned at university and college into it and sort of turned into a really profitable business, because that's just not me. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. I didn't get a business passed to me at all. I'm just Lee from West Lane, and I work extremely hard, and I'm part of a very, very good group of people. And for that, I'm very grateful. So I grew up around Winniebanks in the 80s, and my childhood, was, like many others in the council estates across Teesside, was crime, drugs. There was nothing in the cupboards. It was a tough time. But you know what? I wouldn't change a thing, because it builds character, and I learned to be grateful for everything that I do have. And It was a brilliant time in my life, and for that I'm very grateful. I'm still friends with my friends off the estate now, and my values I learned are still in place for me now in business, as a parent and as a man, and for that I'm very grateful. I then went to Archibald School and Acklam Grange School. I left there and went and played football for Hull City. That was a dream come true, being a footballer. I was very grateful to have that experience. It was amazing. But like many others from the Teesside area, I got released, come back home. I ended up playing football for Billingham-St. It's called Northling football. If there's any footballers there, they'll know that you play Northling football and you get a job as well. My job was in a warehouse called Magnet Kitchens, and it was not something I enjoyed at all. I was there for 10 years because I knew nothing better, but it was a job that I really, really hated. And if you're not fulfilled upon your career, because you will do more, you'll spend more time in your job and at work than you do with your loved ones or doing things that you love. So it's really important that you make good choices now to do something that you love doing. Forget about how much money it pays, forget about the stature it has, just do what you love doing. You've all been given a gift, go and embrace that gift and do what makes you happy. The money and stuff like that will take care of itself. I was not happy, and it played a massive effect on my mental health and where I was as a person. So to sort of compensate for that, I started partying at the weekends. I've got no shame in saying that. To compensate for that, I ended up partying at weekends, drinking, sadly doing drugs. My football career stopped because you can't keep that type of lifestyle up and play at a decent level. My partner at the time, who was a brilliant, amazing person, one of my best friends, she left me. She was forced to because of my behaviour and the way I was acting. And she took my beautiful little girl, Honey, with me. It was the absolute apple of my eye. She stole my heart, right? And, late 20s, I was left in severe debt, homeless because I had the house repossessed, wasn't playing football no more. I lost the job that I hated. How ironic is that? And you know what? What should have been really a happiest time in my life, and it was in many ways with Honey, was sadly the worst time in my life, and I caused a lot of pain for others and for myself. I take full accountability for that. But I can now say that was God's way of preparing me for life's coming attractions. It was making sure that I was ready for the things that I could do, which is this job, being a better dad, being a better person. So everything happened at exactly the right time. So there's me homeless in my late 20s, a father, not living with my daughter, in severe debt, nowhere to go. So at the time I was thinking, should I just kill myself and check out? Or do I face it like a man and do I look for an opportunity? Now, this is the best time ever to be alive because there's so much opportunity out there through new industries like social media, art, creativity, market. Sales is now a very sexy job as well. There was nothing like that then. Somehow the insurance gods, I always say, smiled upon me. I was given a job interview for a self-employed life insurance advisor for a company called Combat Insurance. I went to the interview. Somehow I passed the course. The gods got me through it. I went to York on a training course. Now, I went on the training course. I had a very, very, very big suit, nothing like this one, a really big suit, because I didn't know what size suits were. I'd never bought one before. I goes there and I looked horrendous. I had £20 in my pocket with my partner at the time had borrowed me. And every single morning you got a breakfast as part of the hotel buffet. They're the only 5 meals I had that week. Monday's breakfast, Tuesday breakfast, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I had no money to buy anything else for the rest of the day. And that's all I had. I had one shirt and I'd bend over in the bathtub and wash it with a bit of soap, no hotel soap. Wash it every single night. And when you're doing that in front of somebody, because I share a room, it's quite humiliating. It's quite a sobering experience. But again, I can now see it was God's way of preparing me, giving me some humility for life's coming attractions. It added an air of grace, of gratitude towards me as a human being. It changed the person that I am. And I'm very grateful for the best thing that ever happened to me. So I passed the course somehow, and I went off in the wide world, knowing that if I didn't make this work because of the debt, because of the burden I thought I was on people, especially my beautiful daughter, that it might be time for me to check out and kill myself. So I went out there like a madman, full of enthusiasm and hope, and just went out there and just tried to do as much as I could. I started working really hard because I'd never worked hard before. Like some of you on here will say, yeah, but Lee, I'm not good at maths. You've never really studied. Can I know? I never. Are you getting up at 4 a.m? Are you working till midnight? Have you got a tutor? Are you working through your dinner? Are you hanging out with the best people in the class to learn off them? You've got to be committed to your craft, to make sacrifice to get better. And that's what I started to do. So I wake up at 4, work till midnight. I had no car at the time. You had to travel all over the place. So I ended up walking to Wrecker and back from Middlesbrough one time. I had little things like phone call clubs. We got to ring clients, 100 clients. I had no credit on my phone. So I got me Auntie Sue's house and borrowed a landline. Just little things, but all little tests to see how bad you actually want something, right? That's all it is. So I went out there and you know what? I made it work. All the life's previous experiences give me grit, give me determination. And I'm a Teessider, so I'm strong, right? We all are. We're being blessed. We're from the best town in the world. So I worked as hard as I could and I started to pick it up. I started to make it work. But you know, little by little bricks, I started getting a bit better. My life started improving. I improved as a person. My circle of friends improved. I started getting better and better all the time. Okay, so I was then given an opportunity to start my own company, Bespoke Financial Group. I started that and I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never run a business before. I'd never been responsible for paying people's wages before. But I went in there with a good heart and just tried my best. And that's all you can ever do in life, right? And we started giving it a go. So the main thing I did, I listened to Mike's talk there and he's so right, is I learned to sacrifice. I sacrificed watching Netflix. I sacrificed going out, which is a good thing for me with the bad habits I had. I sacrificed the group of friends changed. You know, birds of a feather flock together. I started hanging about with better people, picking up their good habits, improving as a human being. Monkey see, monkey do. You're always an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who's in your wagon with you? Look at them, and that's what your future looks like. I started knowing better people. I started working even harder. I become a better person. And you know what? My habits changed, and I started changing my future. So at Bespoke, we've got 5 core values. Council estate, old-fashioned values that myself and Michelle insist upon all Bespokers having. And they are hard work, respect, faith, enthusiasm, and kindness. So when Mike spoke about kindness, it's a massive part of what we do. So hard work, what's it mean? It means be the hardest worker in the room. Look at the people in your field or your class or whatever it is that you want to succeed in, the best people, and you work harder than them just to catch them. Just to get level them, you got to work harder than them. That's it. So working hard for me is getting up at 4 and finishing at midnight every day. End of. What does respect mean? It means showing people the respect that you'd like for yourself or your family. That's it. Kindness is so cool. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's like a boomerang behavior. So it's a behavior boomerang. You shot it out there and it'll come back to you. So heavy and so good. And then you've got enthusiasm. There'll be people you know in school, in sport, or in life in general who are not as talented as you, don't come from the background you come from, or aren't as definitely the physical attributes you've got, but I bet you they excel better in life because they're so enthusiastic about everything they do. They try their hardest all the time. That's the level of commitment you've got to have. End of. And faith. You've got to have faith in yourself. You've got to have faith that you're doing the right thing. Have faith in the town you're from the best town in the world. Have faith in doing the right thing when no one's watching. Have faith in your family. Have faith in the college you're joining. Just have faith that everything will work out in the end, because it always does. Everything will be all right in the end. If it's not, then it's not the end. Keep going. Keep going. And that's it. So we've now got a team of 60 staff. We're the #1 firm in the UK. We go out there every single year and we say, right, we're going to take on the boys from London, all them big, massive companies with the big briefcases and raincoats on from Teesside. And we just go after them and we kick their ass every single year, because we're Teessiders, we work hard on them. We've got more crack, more grit, more steel, and we take them on. And we represent Middlesbrough with our absolute might every single year. That's it for us. So we started a movement called Little Bricks. What is Little Bricks? Little Bricks it's a way of life for us. It's sort of dream big, but aim low. So dream about passing your test, but focus on doing the class. Dream about winning an award, but focus on doing the training first. Little bricks build big castles. It's the little things that count when no one else is watching. That's what winners do. They focus on the little details. It's the devil's always in the detail. And that's where we are. So the 5 core values in the Little Bricks will be the anchor that keeps your ship at bay. And a ship without an anchor gets lost. And I'm really good at getting lost, as my past will tell you. So you've got to dream big, but aim low, constantly all the time. Be yourself and turn the volume right up. You are everything you want to be. Don't come in here and go, I want to be like Lee. You don't want to be like me. I don't even like being like me. So just be yourself and turn the volume up. You are everything you want to be. Educate yourself, read positive books, train, eat healthy, surround yourself with good people, make good choices. Imagine where you want to be, then make the choices to get there. That's it. Surround yourself with really good people, be kind. Like I said previously, you're in a time in life where there's so much opportunity. And when preparation meets opportunity, great can happen. I think that's it for me. Just go work as hard as you can, be the best person you can be. And your past doesn't have to define who you are. And where you are right now doesn't have to be your final destination. Just keep on moving forward. That's it. It's not easy. but you can definitely do it, because if I can, anyone can. And I'm far from perfect, trust me. So thanks for having me on. So proud to be a Teesside. I believe in your banks. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I'd like to wish you all a great Christmas. And that's it. Up the bar.
Thank you, Lee. I love that you're saying that your company's been cracking on London. I love that, mate. You're showing them who's boss, aren't you? You're showing them who's on top as well. That's honestly put a right smile on my face. Yeah, honestly, brilliant. Thank you very, very, very much, Lee. I really appreciate that. I look forward to talking to you in the future. Brilliant, pal.
God bless. All the best.
Ta-ra now, mate.
Thank you.
Right, so that was Lee Flanagan, Bespoke Finance. He will be in the Discord again, post some resources, some social medias. If you want to check him out, have a look in the Discord, have a look online, have a look at any social medias. We're going to cut the break a little bit short now. We'll just do 5 minutes. So be back at 1 o'clock. So we'll go from 5 to 4 minutes to whatever it is now. And then we'll come back at 1. So thank you. My mic's on now. My bad. Next up, we have Zoe Lewis. She's the principal of Middlesbrough College. She's Middlesbrough College's first female principal, stroke chief executive. Hi, Zoe. I'll give 2 seconds for this little delay to sort itself out as per.
Yeah, no problem.
She was voted the most inspirational female leader in the country working in further education, which is an amazing accolade. How are you doing? Are you doing well?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes, great to be here.
Brilliant. Great to be seeing you. Yeah, the delays have all sorted itself out now. So if you're ready, we can take the floor.
Yeah, ready when you are.
Perfect. Thank you, Zoe.
Okay.
Cheers.
Hi, everybody. So, Middlesbrough College, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about our journey and about what we've got to offer. We like to call ourselves a world under one roof, where we serve students, people right from across the Tees Valley and beyond, whether they come here with no qualifications or whether they're wanting to do a master's degree and everything in between. We're one of the few colleges in the country that covers every sector of the economy. So we do A-levels, apprenticeships and vocational courses in every sector. So pretty much, if you can think of a job, there's a route through Middlesbrough College, no matter what your starting point, through to the career that you might aspire to in the future. So I'll just run through some of the types of students that we have and the types of courses we have, and hopefully you'll see something that resonates with your particular situation. So for school leavers, we have about 4,500 school leavers. If you drew a circle around Teesside from Whitby to Petite to Northallerton to Darlington, that's roughly our catchment area, so within a set of hours travel really. And as I say, we have students who come here who've left school with very few qualifications. We've got students who've maybe been excluded from various schools who just need their confidence boosting, need to feel good about some skills that they can develop, that then moves them on to other things, all the way through many vocational routes. So it could be people going into the army, the police, creative industries, healthcare, engineering, construction trades, you name it, we've got a route through. And of course, A-levels as well, which probably many of you are familiar with, a traditional academic route that usually leads to university. But one thing that we're developing at the moment, we're the only college in Teesside to be approved to do this now, is something called T-levels. And what that basically means, we'll be delivering them from next September, we're piloting them now, is that students that come to this college to do a T-level will come to college for probably 3 days a week and go out to the workplace for 2 days a week. So we'll help you secure a work placement for 1 or 2 days a week alongside your college course. The real benefit of that is you get really under the skin of the organisation that you've got your placement in. So you'll learn real valuable work experience. You might get projects, you might be doing some digital work or some skills on site, depends on the sector that you're in. The employer will come to get to know you as a person. You'll get to know what they need for their organisation. And so what we're seeing is students are getting really good job offers at the end of these T-level placements. So they're a really good way of supplementing a college course with real work experience. So we're quite excited about those. And they start for real. So we'll come out of the pilot and into the real phase of T-levels next September. And we've got a big focus, particularly on some of the digital skills, where there's a big shortage, particularly across Teesside, I have to say. And we're in a hub here in the middle of a lot of increases in digital jobs, from cyber to games to web and software, networking. There's a real shortage of people with digital skills. So we're very keen to fill some of those shortage jobs as we move forward. So that might be something that you're interested in training in or retraining in. So there's lots of opportunities in the digital field as well. If you happen to find yourself out of college and you want to get back into college, we always have a fresh start event every January. And I think it's the 14th of January next year, so straight after Christmas. If you're thinking you're not happy, or if you've dropped out of an apprenticeship or a college course and you want to start again, we have a whole range of courses that start mid-year that might help you get back on track and try something different that interests you. So we've got a whole careers advisory session going on in January to help people who might be in that situation. So the other thing that a lot of school leavers are interested in are apprenticeships. And we love apprenticeships because you can earn while you learn and develop work experience. So it really is the best of both worlds. So if you've heard of the phrase Northern Skills Group, that's the training arm of Middlesbrough College. We're one of the largest apprenticeship training providers now in the northeast of England, which means that we have apprentices in Northumberland and York and across the whole of the region. So if you do want to log on and express an interest for apprenticeship vacancies, you can go to Northern Skills Group website and get alerts as vacancies come out. So it'll prompt you via email if there's something that you might express an interest in. The only advice I would give anybody who's interested in apprenticeships, well, two things really. One is have a plan B, because they are competitive, particularly at the moment with COVID and a lot of the issues that businesses are facing at the moment. There's probably a few fewer starts than there might have been a few years ago for apprenticeships at the moment. So have a plan B and be resilient and keep trying and keep applying. Don't think if you see a vacancy that you like and you go for it, that's the end of it. And if you don't get it, you have no other options. Keep trying, keep putting yourself out there, and don't take any knockbacks personally, because it is quite a competitive market at the moment for apprenticeships. So for any of you who are listening who are over 19, the college has probably a bigger range actually of courses for adults to come in, from short one-day courses that might be skills that you need to go for a certain job, like first aid or understanding safeguarding or dispensing of medicines, all the way through to 3-year degrees and everything in between. So I'll just give you a flavour of some of those. So if you find yourself unemployed at the moment, the first thing is probably make sure that you are registered at the job centre. Go down that universal credit route, because more and more job opportunities are being directed from local job centres. So the government announced as part of its COVID plan something called Kickstart. You might have heard of it. Essentially, the government is now funding placements for, I think it's 16 to 24-year-olds, but it could be 19 to 24-year-olds. So they can get paid placements. So you will be paid to go and work somewhere for 25 hours a week with training alongside in a local employer. So we are actually, we've put ourselves forward as a college, so as an employer, not as a training provider, to receive 38 Kickstart roles or young people in January. But we will only get those people referred to us through the job centre. So if you are interested in getting ahead in some of these Kickstart placements, then please, I'd encourage you to make sure that you do go through that route. We're really looking forward to meeting as many young people as we can in the new year. And we've offered placements from IT technicians through to security, learning support assistants, attendants, welfare officers, careers, student services. So we as an employer have a whole range of roles, just like any organisation. And we want to play our part in giving young people work experience. So get yourself registered, and hopefully, who knows, we might see you and you could be actually working in the college come next year, or one of the other organisations across Teesside who are offering those Kickstart placements. We also have things called sector skills academies. So we work with lots of local employers. So it could be a call centre or a warehouse. We could be working with Amazon or local businesses to help them with their staff recruitment. So again, we'll work with the job centre and we'll put a course that's tailored to the skills that the employers need. And then we guarantee that you go forward to an interview. We have a great success rate, getting people who are currently unemployed retrained in something that matches the needs of local businesses. So that goes through our sector skills academies. So we could do things like logistics, construction, customer service, security, healthcare. So there's a wide range of options through those skills academies. If you just want to keep your brains active, learn something new, put it on your CV, we have a range of distance learning courses, so you can complete them from the comfort of your living room or your bedroom. They're generally 12 weeks long, but it depends how much time you want to commit per week to them. And there's some really interesting things in, things that you might just have a personal interest in, like understanding children's mental health, for example, or understanding autism or first aid, that sort of thing. or things that you might need on your CV to get a job, like advice and guidance, equality and diversity. So there's a big range of distance learning courses that you don't need to step foot in the college for, but you can learn from the comfort of your own home that will strengthen your CV when you're applying for jobs. And I'd also recommend just keeping your mind generally active. So if you're falling between jobs, or if you're really not sure, always be doing something that keeps developing your mind. I call it stretching your spring. Every time you do something new that's outside of your comfort zone, you'll stretch your personality and your learning more than you've ever stretched it before. And it will go back, because we're all springs. We all go back to our normal kind of personality and knowledge base. But every time you do it, every time you put yourself outside your comfort zone, you develop as a person. You stretch that spring that little bit more. So there's lots of reasons to keep learning. We also have courses that go on all year. So if you want to develop your maths skills or your literacy skills or your IT skills, we have those courses going on for adults to retrain into, as well as kind of longer, meaningful retraining. So, I don't know, to learn how to be a chef or to learn how to be a plumber. We've got those sorts of adult retraining courses going on as well as we move through the year. So plenty of things there if you're over 19, plenty of options for you to think about. We also have what we call an adult and community learning department of the college. And they offer on-site job clubs. So if you wanted to get in touch, if you didn't know where to start, you wanted a bit of advice, you wanted to come down, get some help about how to prepare a CV or how to present yourself at interview, maybe some interview techniques, that sort of thing, you can come down to site at the college, and we've got a team who will really help you develop and put you in the best position possible for any of those roles that you might be interested in applying for. And probably the final sort of element that we offer is our university level courses. We're now approved as an Institute of Technology, and it's a government initiative to make sure that everybody across the country has access to colleges to do degrees in a more flexible and affordable way. So rather than thinking, oh, I want to do a degree, I must go to university full time for 3 years or maybe 4 years, you can actually think, well, I could work part time and I could go to college and do a degree in a day and an evening. It's a little bit harder. I think Lee was really spot on there talking about working hard. You might have to spend more of your evenings, more of your weekends studying, researching, but you really do get the best of both worlds if you're working and if you're studying at the same time. So we're really lucky to be building a university centre at the moment attached to our STEM centre, and that'll be open in September. And again, we've got a range of foundation degrees, HNCs, HNDs, degrees, and even master's degrees in some disciplines that are offered on a mixture of full or part-time basis, depending on your particular circumstances, whether you've got family or work commitments that you want to work around. Hopefully we've got a model that fits around your circumstances. So, as I say, we describe ourselves as a world under one roof because we literally cater from anyone and everyone across the Tees Valley and beyond, no matter what their starting point. And our aim is to give all of our students a little bit more than a piece of paper when they leave us. So people often think of college, I must get a qualification. I must get this to get to there. But it's a bit more than that. It's about your confidence. It's about your skills development, about that presentational skills. And right across our college now, we've spent a lot of years making sure that every area has what we call a real working environment. So if you want to work in health and care, you might be working in a healthcare ward, taking blood pressures and so on, checking for proper hand washing in a real working environment. If you want to work in hospitality, or maybe you want to be a Michelin star chef, we have a training restaurant on site that serves the public, so paying members of the public come to our waterside brasserie, and we have students, whether they're entry-level students or coming in with no prior experience, all the way up to master's degree. In fact, we're the only college in the country that does that. in catering and hospitality. You could come into our restaurant and be served amazing food by students who are training to work in that industry. If you want to work in hair or beauty or media or makeup, we have facilities there. We've got a spa with a sauna. We do lots of beauty treatments. You can get your hair done by training students. So real working environment. So our students don't just get that piece of paper, they've got experience to put on their CV, experience that's real, as I say, with real customers. Our sports students have access to fitness studios, physiotherapy labs. They go out on outward bound courses lots of the times, particularly for public services, learning how to perhaps go into the armed forces or the fire or the police, for example, learning about that community spirit and public service. And then we've got a whole section of the college around the arts. And it's really nice to see the arts being talked about, particularly in the light of COVID, actually, and how important arts are to people's health and well-being and personal development. So it could be that you're interested in creativity, whether that's physically with paintbrushes or whether it's through digital art, graphics, web design, games design. There's lots of jobs locally around that sector. And of course, we've got the performing arts as well, and music practice rooms and a whole range of facilities there, state-of-the-art recording studios. We actually have students, believe it or not, travelling as far as Bristol to access our music technology degrees. So we're one of the few specialists in the country around that high-tech music technology industry that we all love. Health and care is probably our biggest area. We know it's one of the biggest employers. It's certainly in Middlesbrough with James Cook University Hospital. So a lot of our trainees will go on to be nurses or midwives or social workers. Of course, we've got the childcare and the teaching arm who'll go on to be teachers or nursery nurses. And then we have our technical arm of construction, trades, so joinery, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, instrumentation. We've got oil and gas. We now, of course, have TTE under the college group. Really proud to be able to help TTE last year as they got into difficulties. They're now a strong part of Middlesbrough College, 3 miles down the road from here in South Bank. Great specialists in all the renewable energies, so wind turbines, wind technology, as well as the traditional sectors like chemical, process, instrumentation, oil and gas. So TT have got a great sort of technical, practical arm as well, which is added to what we can offer here at the Middlehaven campus. Mustn't forget all that business and administration as well. Pretty much every organisation needs business, administrators, people who keep the cogs of their organisations going. So I wouldn't underestimate the number of jobs across Teesside in those business and leading to management sectors. And of course, I haven't said much about A-levels because I always assume people know what A-levels are, but we do have a sixth form centre that offers that kind of academic route as well. So lots of choice, and choice is a good thing because it can give you lots of options to think about. It can also baffle your mind sometimes when you're faced with a lot of choice. So we usually recommend either having a telephone careers advice session or coming on site. We are actually offering socially distanced open events now. We've had that sign off from public health, so we're able to welcome people back onto site. We're very safe. We've got marquees for socially distant lunches and one-way systems and all the things that you'd expect us to have to keep you safe. So if you are in the position of thinking, do you know what, new year, new start, I want to talk to somebody about my options, feel free in the new year to come to that Fresh Start guidance event and get some independent careers advice about what might be the best next step for you wherever you are in your life and in your career options. So I'm going to kind of stop there, and I don't know if there's an opportunity for questions, Kane. I have got a number of colleagues with me who might be able to help as well, depending on the nature of the questions, but hopefully that's given everybody an overview of what we do, what we offer, and things that you might want to think about for your next steps.
Yes, I've seen that Rachel Gray.
Yes,
Can you hear me
Rachel's with
okay,
us here.
Zoe? Yeah, she's in the
Yes.
Discord now, isn't she? Yeah, she's putting a lot of resources in there, and I'm assuming that she'll be able to answer some questions in there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's with me.
Okay, brilliant. So yes, so to anyone watching, if you have any questions for Zoe, just go into the Discord. There's resources available under the tab, and then there's a tab for Middlesbrough College, which is Zoe, and then you can ask questions in there. You can ask anything that you like, really. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Thank you very much, Zoe.
You're very welcome.
I can see why you were voted the most inspirational female leader.
Oh, thank you. Very bashful. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. See you now. Bye-bye. Okay, so next, moving on, we have Simon Clayton. Hello, Simon.
Hi, how you doing?
From the Marketing Skills Academy. He's the creator of the Marketing Master Plan Coaching Program. He's a member of the Association for Coaching, the Chartered Management Institute, and UK Marketing Network. So, Simon, you are marketing.
Yeah, cut me in half, and I'm just pure marketing. That's all I am. Absolutely.
Leading marketing. I love that, mate. How are you doing? You well?
I'm really well, thank you. Yeah, really well. It's a bit chilly, but I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's like. Lead up to Christmas, it all pays off, doesn't it? Spot on, mate. Okay, I'll let you take the ground.
Cool, brilliant. Okay, so let me start a bit about me first of all. My name's Simon Clayton. I'm a marketing coach, come mentor trainer, and that's kind of what I do at the moment. I work with businesses of all shapes and sizes, looking at their strategic marketing plans, and that's kind of looking at the traditional side, such as your press and your TV and your radio, and then obviously the more modern side, such as your digital marketing, your websites and your social media and so forth. I've been self-employed for about 6 years, and prior to that I worked in industry for about 20 years. I always say that 20 years was my apprenticeship. I worked for various organisations across the UK, Teesside, Newcastle, Manchester and London. And during that time, I developed my knowledge and my skills and the kind of things that I'm kind of implementing now with my clients. And I suppose for me, business is all about marketing. You know, it's everything in business is about marketing. It's about how we present ourselves, how we create awareness in our products and our services, how we sell ourselves, and ultimately how we make people feel before they buy from us, when they buy from us, and afterwards, of course. So I suppose when I first started in business about 6 years ago, I actually set up as an agency. So to the outside world, even though it was just me, to the outside world, I was building websites, I was managing social media campaigns, I was creating PR campaigns, launch events, the whole mix of things I could offer. And internally, it was just me and a whole bunch of freelancers and people in my network. And whilst the work was great, I was fast becoming a very busy fool trying to service everything. And obviously my network were making much more money than me. And it got to the stage I thought, gosh, I've got to start selling me. I've got to start selling what I do. I've got to start selling my skills and what I'm good at. And thankfully, I had a client who was a pub group, and they said, oh, do you mind doing some social media training? We've got 20 pubs and restaurants and coffee shops in the group. Would you mind doing some social media training? And at the time, I'd never done anything like that before. Never done any kind of training or coaching. So as you do, I said, yeah, no problem. I can do that. And literally came home and created some kind of training program and went back and presented it. And they absolutely loved it. And I thought, you know what? This is great because this is my skill. It's me delivering it. I'm getting paid for my time. And I think sometimes you've got to jump out of those comfort zones and you've got to get into it. You know, if you really want to work in the marketing industry, especially, it's a highly competitive industry. So you've really got to get yourself out there and just push yourself into environments and kind of create those opportunities. So I delivered that training workshop, and then they got back in touch and said, will you do some more work with us, some more training? While I was doing that, and this was up in Newcastle, I had a call from a local networking group based in Teesside. And they said, would you mind doing a workshop based on being a startup, starting a business. I said, no problem. And it was at Teesside University. So I came down and I presented for 10 minutes just like this, talking about why it was great to be self-employed and how you set up your own business. And while I was presenting, I recognized somebody at the back of the room. Just, when you see somebody and you see in the face, but you can't picture where you know them from. Anyway, long story short, we had a chat at the end, and I realized it was somebody I'd been to sixth form college with 30 years previous. And we got chatting, and she worked for the university. And she said, you know what? We're looking for people like you who work in industry, who can come in and do some workshops. Would you be up for it? Yeah, absolutely. Of course I would. So suddenly my whole business model had changed from, providing websites and that kind of, to it being more about the skills that I could offer and the opportunities, the things that I could do. So I started creating workshops on social media, doing stuff on LinkedIn, and general marketing, how to market your brand and how to market yourself. And it was during that time that the business school at the university, one of the lecturers came down one day and said, hey, we could really do with someone like you in our team of lecturers. Do you fancy doing some, just some ad hoc lecturing? To which I said, yes. Jumped 12 months later, and I took a part-time role with the university in the business school as one of their digital marketing lecturers. And I've been there now just over 3 years and absolutely love it. So that's me university work. While that's happening, my coaching work took off even more. I got an enterprise agency up in Newcastle got in touch and asked me if I'd like to do some work with them, some coaching work. So kind of in the space of 12 months, my whole business model changed. I was doing a lot more coaching, a lot more training, and a lot more mentoring. And it was also during this time that I'd been pulling together my own kind of coaching program. And I was sat with a very good friend of mine one day, and she said, you know what, Sam, this would make a really good book. And I was like, well, nah, I don't write books, that's for J.K. Rowling's and all that. I don't do things like that. I said, no, honestly, I think this will make a great book. Jump forward 12 months later, and I published my first book, which is the Marketing Master Plan. And that, in effect, is my coaching course. That's my main coaching course that I run. And that is purely how to create a marketing plan in 6 stages, 6 steps. And it starts by looking at how to analyze where you are now, what your business looks like, how to create your marketing plan, how to understand your customers and your competitors, choose the right tools, launch your campaign, and then measure what that is. Now, that was never meant to be a book, never planned it, but these things just happen. And again, it's probably another example of where you've got to take opportunities as and when you can. Especially with that kind of thing with the book, it just came out. I needed to coach, and I needed some kind of product, some kind of program in my business. And that kind of just evolved naturally. And I say that's one of my big sellers now in the business. So where am I now? Well, this year's been an incredibly challenging year, as I'm sure it has for everybody. This time last year, I was telling all my clients and those I was training, it's going to be a brilliant year, 2020, loads of opportunities and, new government, we get Brexit out of the way, all that kind of thing, wonderful. Never, ever, ever anticipating that we're going to be hit with COVID. And, earlier in the year, back in March, when COVID first kicked in and they announced lockdown, a lot of my coaching work dried up and stopped. And it was quite a worrying time. And I think the one thing I did learn was very quickly that when things do get tough and when times do get tough, you've got to quickly adapt and do something about it. It's very easy to feel kind of lost and feel sorry for yourself and kind of go in the corner and hope it all goes away. And basically, it's just about resilience and thinking, right, then what can I do? How can I make this better? Now, thankfully, there was bits and pieces still coming from the university. But I managed to change around some of the coaching I do, some of the coaching. And actually, I built a program just aimed at how to get through COVID and how to keep marketing your business and so forth, which proved very successful as well. Where we are now, it's probably the busiest I've been in a long time. The last 2 or 3 months have just gone crazy. I think the big thing is that businesses have realized that even though we have got this awful situation, this global pandemic that you just can't stop. You've got to keep marketing. You've got to keep showing up and keep being seen. So, you know, there's lots of opportunity out there still. And what I always preach is one of the big things that when we get something like this, where we get a recession or we get, you know, global pandemic, you find a lot of the big organizations tend to stop their marketing, which gives smaller organizations a much better opportunity to market themselves and get more reach and more awareness in their marketplace. So that's where I'm now. It's really busy. Next year, I'm looking to do a lot more online. The good thing about the pandemic, if there is a good thing, it's actually got me to do a lot more coaching online using Zoom and Teams, which I was anticipating pre this, but it's kind of forced me into that. And again, part of that, me adapting my business was adapting online, you know, making sure I could still offer the coaching services one-to-one in this kind of environment rather than face-to-face. And that's going to continue into 2021. I'd love to say now and say it's going to be a wonderful year. But I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot. But I do believe that obviously we know things are getting better, and you know, there's much opportunity out there at the moment. If you are thinking about getting into the marketing industry, or you know, if digital marketing or whatever, there's a few things I'd advise. First of all, passion always works. If you're passionate about something, you know, just believe in yourself and get out there and do it. You know, make sure that you've got an interest, you know, you understand technology, you know, and the rest will just follow. The thing about marketing is it is constantly evolving. It is constantly changing. New technologies come on place, you know, new trends happen. For example, this year, TikTok has just exploded, you know, and I'm sure many of us have got an account on there and doing daft dancing and all that kind of thing, but TikTok is huge at the moment. So if you've got an interest and if you've got a passion, you know, you've just got to get out there and look for those opportunities. There are many small businesses at the moment who really need help, who need support. So if you've got some skill set or you've got some understanding of a particular social media platform, or, you know, whether it's email marketing, or maybe you could even create stuff, you know, or whatever it is, people need those services more than ever at the moment because they realize they need to market their businesses. The other thing I'll say is, and obviously Zoe's touched on this in the past, if you can get some qualifications, some kind of training, you know, in the classroom or online, do that. It's so important. Self-education. I'm a massive advocate of lifelong learning, and that's one of the things that I always do in my business, with myself and my personality, constantly trying new things, learning new things, educating myself, making sure that I'm on top of those trends, and in some cases ahead of the game, because you never know what's going to happen next. You never know what you're going to be asked next by, you know, your clients or those you're coaching. So yeah, if you can get some kind of training, you know, so vital. There's actually a course starting at the university in January, Winter University. It's a digital marketing course, and it's 8 weeks, which I'm running. So have a look on the Teesside University website. It's an introduction to digital marketing, and you do get a certificate after it and some credits as well. And the final thing I would say is just, you know, find your niche. If you can do something that nobody else can do, or there's very few people out there, you'll obviously come into more demand and people will want that service more. So find your niche, find something you're really good at and develop those. It could be something where you're great in one particular industry. You know, you might be great to do with retail, or it might be something to do with, I don't know, education, whatever that is. Find your niche, get those education, get those qualifications, and just get yourself out there. Let your passion carry you forward, take you forward, and develop those skills. And I say there is lots of opportunity at the moment. Teesside, especially, with all the different training we've got here, all the different opportunities. It really is a brilliant place to be for A, starting a business, and B, for developing your marketing and sales skills. There's lots of opportunity at the moment, but you've got to go out there and you've got to find it, because no one's going to give you anything for free. Trust me, I learned that at a very early stage. So that's basically me in a nutshell. I hope that's give you an understanding of what Marketing Skills Academy does and what I do. Obviously, please ask questions and so forth, and happy to answer anything that you need to know.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Is that enough? Is that all right?
Yeah, no. Don't we all? We all follow waffle. Don't worry, mate. It's all up there. You know what you're doing. So that's marketing master plan, the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the point where I do the old product placement. We should have something that flashes up here and goes.
I want you to plug that. Yeah. I want you to plug that. That's why I had it there. Brilliant. So there you go, guys. Marketing master plan, the book. Your website is marketingskillsacademy.co.uk. You can find all the information that you want on there. Again, and the book's in there too. So are you on the Discord, Simon?
I am. Yes. I've just got on there, so yes, I am.
Yeah, beautiful. So there should be some resource tabs available on the Discord. Pardon me. There should be some resource tabs available on the Discord, and then in there, Simon can post all of the information that he spoke about previously, as well as any new information or questions.
Yeah, I've actually given you 3 of my top ebooks, best performing ebooks, and one of them is about how to create. It's actually taken from the book. It's how to create a marketing plan. Free, download it, use it, fill your boots. Hopefully, it'll give you some idea of what to work with.
Yeah, top notch. So you can say, yeah, if you go on there, read that, and then obviously getting that section of the book out there, and you can learn, you can know what sort of quality you're going to be dealing with, and that's top stuff. So thank you very much, Simon.
Brilliant. Thank you too. Thanks for the opportunity.
Mate. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great Christmas. So next up, we have Andrew Cummins from Zodiac Digital Services.
Hi there.
Hello, Andrew. So Andrew is the owner of Zodiac Digital. His specialities are in website creation and e-commerce. Andrew also offers social media startup services and bespoke training packages for anything digital. So, how are you doing, Andrew? Are you well?
I'm good, thanks. I apologise for not having as jazzy a background as the last speaker, but I'm stuck in college at the moment, so I'm just in between classes.
Oh, don't worry about it. I've that clock, I don't know if anyone's noticed, is not telling the right time. Just a little bit of trivia there. It's not got any batteries in, so it's been stuck on the same time since we started. So that's the thing. We all have our backgrounds. Okay, I'll let you take over now, Andrew. Thank you.
Fab, thank you very much.
Cheers, pal.
So hi everybody. As already been said, my name's Andrew. I run Zodiac Digital Services. It's a web design company. I offer bespoke web design, e-commerce packages, social media startup packages, and digital training. And recently, as a result of the pandemic, I've also started teaching business and digital skills at Stockton Riverside College, which is where I am at right now, which explains the bank of cupboards behind me. So the ethos of everything that I do is that I'm a firm believer in giving people the ability to make the most of themselves, of their businesses online, whether that's the website creation, whether that's through getting them started on social media, or whether that's just giving them the skills to do whatever it is they need to do online. It's something that I firmly believe in. I think for too many people, the digital realm is still quite a closed book and an exclusive club almost. And I like to make people aware that it is open and it's something which can be taken advantage of. Much like the last speaker, and I'm going to guess everybody who's spoken today, the Teesside area is something that I'm exceptionally passionate about. The vast majority of my clients are from Teesside and the surrounding areas, and I take great pride in helping local businesses, local individuals get themselves set up online and taking their business and taking Teesside out to the world. It's something that I firmly believe in. I've been in operation since 2013. Prior to that, I taught history and politics at university, and then I dabbled in being a music journalist. And I think both of those careers have given me a bit of a unique selling point in the world of web design, because to a degree, I take the tech out of web design. I try to make it quite inviting for people, not too daunting in terms of the technical side of things, And I think because the majority of my career hasn't been spent solely in the field of IT, I'm able to be perhaps a bit more approachable, or a bit more, I know to be a bit more approachable than a lot of other people in IT may otherwise be. So since 2013, I've helped upwards of 150 local businesses get themselves started online. The vast majority of the clients that I work with are new businesses, or certainly small businesses who are looking to make their first steps online. Generally, it will be businesses who've never had a website before, never really had social media before, who suddenly realise that that they need to get a foot in the digital realm. Things have changed quite dramatically since I first started out. 2013. It feels like a lifetime ago. At that point, there were a lot of businesses, a lot of people who didn't necessarily believe that they needed to have a digital presence. It wasn't something that was regarded as being of paramount importance to them. Quite often it was grudgingly taken on board because it was accepted that it was something that was needed, but wasn't regarded as being a significant part of the business. Over the years, that's changed, and now pretty much without exception, everybody seems to realize the power of having a web presence, and there isn't really a business type that's out there that I think doesn't need a website or a social media presence at the very least. It's how you get noticed these days, and that's something that's only going to increase. The prevalence of things like phone books, of leaflets, are going to drop off, and increasingly, if you don't have a web presence, to the majority of people out there, you may as well not exist as a business. I'm passionate about working with new and small businesses because it's a process that I've been through myself. When I was setting up Zodiac, I went through the business startup program with the Five Lamps local enterprise agency, and I saw the effort that was put in to getting me started. I saw all the different facets that I had to get to grips with in order to launch a business. And I also saw that a lot of the training was geared towards physically setting up the business, but there wasn't a lot of help in terms of getting the business set up online. So that became something that I took very seriously, because even back in 2013, I was quite aware that without a decent web presence, without a website, you weren't really making the most of your business. Teaching at college, doing digital training sessions and working with new startups, I'm very, very aware that a lot of people are not particularly tech savvy, or a lot of people are not confident when it comes to anything in the digital realm. To a lot of people, the idea of having a website is a genuinely daunting experience. There's a perception that it's exceptionally complicated. There's a perception that it's exceptionally expensive, and there's a perception that it's, a lot of people tell me it's something for young people, and that certainly isn't the case. And this is where I think my experiences outside of the tech industry are a bit of an advantage, because I am able to approach people, perhaps in a slightly different way than somebody whose entire background is in tech. Like I say, I do like to take the tech out of the web design process, make it quite an easy, approachable process for people to get involved with. I like to think that without exception, the websites that I build, once you've had a bit of training, you're able to take that website and run with it and make it your own. I do always stress to clients that the website that I'm building, and this is something that anybody, whether you're using me to build your website, whether you're going to any other company, you need to keep in mind that the website that you're building is your website. When I'm building a site for a client, I'm aware that it's not my website. It's something that is yours as the client. It's your entity. It's your baby, if you like. And because of that, it's something that I believe you as the client need to be able to use confidently, and to feel like you actually have ownership of. And you only really have that by being trained in how to use your website, I don't feel like that you as the client should be obliged to come and pay me every time you need a few words changing on your website. I like to give my clients the power through training to take their website and run with it as much as they feel confident with. Some people do it. Some people take their site, I never really see them again, and I'll look in a year's time and they've done all sorts with it. That's fantastic. Other people, they're not quite so confident and they will come back to me on a regular basis asking me to do things. Again, that's fine. It's whatever you feel most comfortable and most happy engaging with. And training is a vital part of that process. I provide training documents. I offer training schemes to clients so they can do whatever it is they're going to need to do on their website. Some people, it may be as simple as here's how you add a few new images or a new bit of text. Some people who are perhaps running bigger sites or e-commerce sites, it may be this is how you add products, this is how you process orders, this is how you add new training packages. So the training is bespoke to whatever the site is that you are that you're being provided with. And ideally, that would be the case for any person getting the website built by anybody. At the end of the build, you should be equipped to go away and look after that site yourself. If you're not, to a degree, it can't ever be really fully considered your website. So as I said, I specialize in website design, so small and medium-sized websites, and I specialize in building e-commerce sites, so getting your products to your customer base. In addition to that, there is the digital training side of things. So generally, that is things like starting up in social media, creating graphics for your website, content writing for your website. But generally, whatever you need, I'm able to provide either an individual or group training course with. In addition to that, I provide a social media startup program whereby I will help you put together your social media profiles to ensure that they are as good and professional as they can be. And I will help you for the first few months get to grips with using social media for a business sense, because a lot of people flat out aren't happy using social media at all. And a lot of people are happy using social media as a personal tool, but transitioning that over to using it as a business tool is something which takes quite a lot to get to grips with. So I offer a gradual transition process whereby for month number 1, I will do all your posting for you, and then gradually up to end of month number 3, we will slide it. So by end of month number 3, you are doing all your posting, maybe with a bit of checking by me. This year has been strange. I'm not going to lie, COVID has been quite impactful. For me, it hasn't necessarily all been negative. It's allowed me to transition over to having most of my meetings over Zoom, over Google Meet, which personally to me has been a godsend because it means I'm spending a lot less time driving to clients. So I'm able to get a lot more work done. But obviously, it also means a lot of people have backed away from having websites built because suddenly their financial situation has changed quite dramatically. And because of that, I've recently started doing some teaching work at Stockton Riverside, still firmly in my field, and I'm looking to help students start up some sort of student-based businesses and that kind of thing. What has happened is this period of teaching at college has given me an idea for a completely new project, which I'm looking to pursue. And it is still attached to the idea of carrying out digital training. And that is something linked to the idea of safety online. What I've noticed teaching students is that a lot of them are very, very susceptible to what they're reading online. They will believe the first thing that they read. They will believe whatever it is that they see and firmly run with that idea. At a time when we've got so much fake news going on, so much news about coronavirus, about the vaccine, I personally feel this is quite a dangerous precedent and something which ideally needs to nip in the bud. So as part of my own kind of training packages and something that I'm looking to work with the college in doing is to produce some sort of digital safety campaign, which will help young people especially evaluate the data that they're being presented with online, whether that's evaluate the source of where the information's come from, and know the difference between a valid and an invalid website, have an appreciation of the motives behind why a certain piece of video, why a certain article is being created. So rather than just taking everything at face value, they are learning to sift through what is in front of them and work out for themselves what can be regarded as being the most authoritative and what should be regarded as being dangerous. I think this is quite an important issue which needs to be dealt with. A lot of students at the college seem to be quite susceptible to it. I know if anybody's even glanced at social media in the past 3 years, you'll know it's something which is exceptionally prevalent on there, and it's something which is quite dangerous. You've only got to look at the increase in the in the anti-vax movement, for instance, to see that these ideas are quite dangerous, and they're not necessarily being sowed through the actions of malicious people. They're being sowed through the actions of people who don't necessarily appreciate that not everything they see online can be regarded as being completely legitimate. So that's something I'm looking to put together, and that's something which I'm going to make a big effort to push through in 2021. Maybe do a test run at the college and see how it works. Then I'll be looking to market that as something which is firmly part of the Zodiac ethos. I think it is quite important. Web design is still going to be my priority because it's where I started. It's something that I firmly believe in, and I do quite enjoy it. So before I wrap up, I've just got a few comments to give to people with regards to web design. The idea that web design needs to be a really expensive process isn't necessarily true. There is a website out there for everybody. This isn't me necessarily pitching my own services, but I do offer good price websites. But if you're just starting out and you have absolutely no budget, there are free website builders out there where you can put together something which looks absolutely fine, and you will have a nice website for your business. Then maybe in 2 years' time, once you're more established, you can look to reassess and maybe get it rebuilt. If you've got a bigger budget, there's big companies out there and everything in between. So regardless of what your budget is, there's always an option for you. I tend to say to people, especially when first starting out and every penny counts, is get the website that you need at this moment. There's no point paying a few £1,000s for a website that's got e-commerce functionality if you know it's going to be 2 years before you're ready to start selling products online. Get the site that you need now, so it's relatively cheap, and then look to get things bolted on down the line. And I think it's quite important that you, as a client, have a decent relationship with your web designer. They ideally shouldn't just be an anonymous person at the end of an email. There should be something you can chat to bounce ideas off, and somebody who you feel able to go to and say, actually, no, I don't like that. Because at the end of the day, they are presenting your business online. So it's really important that you like, if not love, what it is that they've done. And if you don't, it should be a case of refining it until you're happy with the end result. If you don't necessarily feel like you can do that with your web designer, it might well be that even if the price is right, they're not the right person to deal with. Because, generally over the course of the site build, it should be a relatively close, almost intimate relationship because, it's you're working very, very closely together. And the final main point about starting out on a website is before you even go to a web designer and start the build process, is you need to be really sure of what do I want to tell the world about my business. It's important that you know roughly where you're at in terms of content. You know, what text do I need people to see? What images do I need? Because otherwise, if you go to a web designer with minimal information, it does make it much harder to put a website together. And you're going to have a website which perhaps isn't quite as good and doesn't fully reflect your business. And if your website isn't reflecting your business completely, then to a degree it may as well not exist, because it's not really doing a service for you. And on that note, I may have to wrap up, because unfortunately I have another class due in 3.5 minutes, so I should probably dash away.
Okay,
But
well,
thank you for the
thank you
time.
very much, Andrew. I was just going to quickly ask, I know that you're heading off, but yeah, if you can post, if you're allowed, if you can post some maybe some website examples that you've done in the past, like a portfolio work.
Yeah, I'll
Post it in Discord.
pop it in the Discord server. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people can have a look at your work and the type of stuff that you do. But I'll let you get off. So thank you. Have a great Christmas and New Year's.
Yep, and thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.
Cheers, Andrew. Bye now.
Bye.
So that is us done. The event has now finished. Stephen is going to jump on. He's just lowered himself in. Hello, Stephen.
How are you doing, Joe? You all right?
And he is going to present our little outro. They're not fitting on. The two at the bottom aren't fitting on fully.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got everyone on my screen as well. So yeah, seems to be all right at the minute. But oh, where's Chandana? There we go. So thank you everyone for being with us today. My name's Stephen. I'm the creative director at Teesside Limited. I've been working in the background, trying to keep everything together on this side, flipping all the screens and everything. This event is the first of many, and we couldn't have done it without our amazing interns, who you can see on screen now, that helped build this event from nothing to something. When we took them on, we couldn't pay them because we're only a small business. But what we wanted to do was provide them with a unique experience and opportunity that no other company could. A lot of them are project management master students. And then we have a marketing student as well. So that's why we built this event. We didn't want them just working in an office or just doing medial tasks. We wanted to do something impactful that would look great for them and hopefully boost their CV. And to be honest, I think I speak for all of us when I say that the event has been a massive success. So just wanted to say to all you interns publicly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Like, you've done an amazing job. I want to thank all the attendees, all the amazing speakers, and then again, most importantly, the interns who built this amazing event for all of us. If anyone would like to speak to them, I'm sure they'll be available on the Discord for a bit. But from all of us at Gateway and Create Teesside Limited, we want to thank you, and we'll see you in 2020. So take care. Bye.
Thank you, Steve.